Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Direct Video Connoisseur podcast. As always, this is Matt here, and coming up, Ty from Comeuppance is back on as we look at two films with a bit of a Massachusetts theme to them. We're going to be looking at Hunting Games with CT from The Challenge, and then we'll be looking at a film called American Violence. I keep wanting to call it American Violins. Actually, I don't want to call it that, but it just, it sounds like American Violence. Anyway, that one's got Gronk in it, right? So another Massachusetts hero there, right? One of the greatest tight ends of all time, who, as a Patriots fan growing up, I loved watching Gronk play. It was always a pleasure to see that. So it was kind of fun to see him in that movie. So that's what we've got coming up in a little bit. In terms of upcoming episodes of the podcast, next week we're taking off. So I'm going to be out of town for work. So normally we would be doing a DTVC extra in that spot there, but because we just wrapped up with the Kickboxer series, we'll take a break. Then we'll get into Expendables after that. In terms of other upcoming episodes, Ty and I just recorded another one, looking at a movie called The Get Back with Theo Rossi. It's a Tubi original that looks like Tubi's Taking Down, which is really interesting. But then the other movie we're looking at is The Weapon with Tony Sheena. So I'm expecting that one to come up probably first week of October. And then Tom Jolliffe, a screenwriter who we've had on before. It's been a while since we've had him on. I think the last time we had him on was on March, where he was with his filmmaking partner, Nathan Shepka, and they were talking about their upcoming project they're working on, The Baby in the Basket. And so, and of course, they talked also about When Darkness Falls, which is a really great film that they made. So we're doing a film called Cypher from the early 2000s that I haven't seen before, so it'll be interesting to check that out. But we haven't recorded that podcast yet, but I'm hoping to kind of slot that one in before the one that Ty and I do, but just to kind of do, split those episodes up between Ty and I. But yeah, so that's the plan there. In terms of the DTVC extra, what we're going to do next, we'll probably start looking at Expendables. So I'm going to try to work those ones in. I don't think I'll have all of the episodes up before we get to the film being in the theater. So there might be a little bit of delay between when I see it in the theater and then I let everybody know about that. But yeah, so that's what we've got coming up there on the podcast. For the site, this weekend, Fit to Kill. I'm going to try to get that one in. It's going to be a bit of a busy weekend because, again, I'm going to be going away for the week, so I've got to take care of some things, run some errands that weekend before I leave on Monday. But I'm hoping to get a new blog post in on Saturday, and then the Saturday after, I'm getting back into Philly around 11 p.m. on that Friday. So I'm hoping to still be able to get another blog post in. So I've maintained a pretty good streak of getting a podcast in. A blog post in once a week since I think May of 2022, something like that. So managing to keep that streak up, so I'm going to push forward and kind of make sure I do that. But in terms of the movies I'm going to be looking at in the near future, Fit to Kill, and then I'm hoping to do. I'm not sure what will come after that. There's another one, Codename Vengeance, that had Robert Ginty. Sorry, I'm drawing a little blank there. Codename Vengeance with Robert Ginty. I'm going to get that one in. Hard Target 2 is one that we're going to be looking at in the near future. Also, Mail Order Murder. So you may remember Mail Order Murder talking about Wave Productions. That was one that with Wave Productions, we did that. I'm trying to think when Mitch and I did that episode. It was earlier this year. It was a really great episode talking about, shot on video movies, that production company. If you haven't checked that episode out, that is a really great one. And so I'm going to do a blog post on the documentary Mail Order Murder, which you can find on Tubi, which is a really cool one to check out. So yeah, so that's what we've got coming up here on the blog. Now, other big news. I released on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited a novella that I had been working on called Bainbridge. And so Bainbridge is about this cop, John Bainbridge, a police detective with the LAPD in the early 90s. Cop on the edge type, right? Former special forces, goes by his own rules, all that kind of stuff. Really wanted to really pay homage to and also kind of be, a send up of, those early 90s DTV actioners, PM, Canon, AIP, that kind of thing. I looked at, threw a lot of jokes in there, a lot of things like that that like you kind of, that we've seen before, right? The cliches, all that, but also try to have a decent story involved with it as well. It's $2.99 on Kindle, and then I am going to try to get it on paperback. The paperback price will probably be about $6.99, not counting shipping. I'm hoping to get that one up soon. The thing is I'd never, out of the novels that I had self-published before this, they were all book length or novel length, which I don't know what the rule is, but it's in terms of page length. I believe anything under 100 for Amazon KDP can cause issues when it comes to like the spine, the title on the spine, and all of that. And so I just wanted to take a look at a proof copy of the paperback before I push the paperback out there to everyone. And I probably should just do that anyway, because to be honest, I mean, I think one of them, I think it was A Girl in a Gun, didn't look the way I wanted it to, and I already had it on Amazon on the marketplace for people to buy it, and people were buying that copy of it until I changed some of the title and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's one thing I'd like to do is kind of get that in there. But kind of just giving you the process with it. It was one of those things where I know with the audience here, the DTVC, more action oriented, right? More low budget film oriented. And with my novels, they're more literary fiction. They have elements in them that like kind of harken to some of the similar things, but yeah, there isn't always as much of a hook. And, obviously with the novel's not selling as much as I'd like, I've got to probably find, audiences that would respond to those. But at the same time, I was thinking, I do love action. And with my audience, with the DTVC being more action oriented, maybe, an action story or an action novel would kind of fit the bill better, right? That people might, I don't know, they might latch onto that better. So that was one of the ideas that I had. The other idea was just to kind of see if I could do it. It's very different from anything I've ever written before, and so it's a question of, how does it work? If I'm describing action, that was a little bit more challenging than I was expecting. My novels, there's very little action on the level of what I'm describing here in this novel. And so, yeah, how well that comes across, if it works or not. And I think if for people that are interested, even if you want to wait for the paperback, because you'd rather have the paperback copy than do the Kindle, you can still go to the Amazon page, and on the Kindle, with it being live on Kindle, you can preview the first 2 chapters. So you can take a look at the first 2 chapters, see what you think, see if it's something you like, see if you're interested in it. It starts off with a joke where the main character, Bainbridge, he's born in 1950, and his partner's born in the early 60s. So he thinks of the partner as a kid, Gary. He's kind of got a California beach bum look to him with the blonde hair and everything. And there's a joke about like pop music and at that time. But yeah, it kind of just gets right into the action. One of the things about this is that the opening action sequence is tied into the rest of the story, whereas I know a lot of times with an action movie, right, there's an opening action sequence that's completely separate from the rest of the story. And I may, again, we'll see what the reception is. We'll see kind of how people respond to this one. If people get out there, buy copies of it, and if they buy copies and tell me what they think and say, hey, I really like this, or they read the first 2 chapters and say, man, I can't get into this, it's not working. Depending on what people say, I might kind of revisit him. I do have some other ideas of what I'd like to do with the character, and can, in that setting, the book takes place in the early 90s, so the story takes place in the early 90s, so it is a period piece from that time. I try to kind of bring in the fashions, I try to bring in conversation stories, things like that, computers, right, with 3.5 floppy disks, and I kind of make jokes about some of the tropes, right, whether it's an election year or the 3.5 disc floppy MacGuffin, some of those kinds of things, a damsel in distress, I kind of try to poke fun at some of those things. Other things that were topical at the time, the main character's son is named Ricky, they call him Ricky, but the son decides he wants to be called Rick, and so the dad has to sort of contend with that, some of those kinds of things that were just, we remember from the early 90s, that I try to bring into it. So I hope it's something that people do enjoy and have fun with, and it's not going to be my sole type of writing. I mean, I've still got plenty of literary fiction that I need to proofread and get out there. I mean, I'm still planning to get Don's House in the Mountains published, and hopefully in October as well. I mean, I think it depends on how well this sells. I mean, if this thing starts selling, I may hold off on Don's House in the Mountain and let this one, as the kids would say, let this one eat, right? Let it eat a bit, and then see how it does, and then maybe push Don's House in the Mountains back to November. If it's not selling at all, then I'm just going to go right into Don's House in the Mountains in October. Just get that one out as well, and not slow it down too much. But it was one of those things where I had it finished, and I was like, you know what? It's ready to go. Let's put it out there, just see what people think of it, and see if it, again, it is kind of something that I feel like the audience would like better. There isn't another writing project that I have been working on for a long time that I think, again, DTVC fans and listeners, readers would probably be interested in is I've been trying to work on a DTVC book, something that just kind of covers my experience with the world with direct-to-video. And so I'd started it and then kind of lost it for a little bit. I think one of the areas where I was going to put the list of everybody that was in the Hall of Fame as of my writing, and I tried to have it like formatted where it was like 3 columns of writing, and then Word just kind of crapped out while I was doing it, and just it couldn't go the way it was, and I lost focus. It's one of those things that happens sometimes with me with writing where it's like I'll kind of really be kicking into high gear, really getting into work on it, and then something like that will trip me up where it's like I really want it to look a certain way and I can't get the formatting right, and I just give up and go into something else. So it's the easiest thing. That's another reason why literary fiction is so easy, is I can just spit it out. I just get the story idea in my head, I get a notepad out and I write down the ideas of what I want to do and then just go for it. Where it's like Bainbridge was something where it was similar to that, where I was like, let's see if I can even come up with an idea, which I did. The basic premise of Bainbridge, which I guess I completely buried that lead, right? The basic premise is Bainbridge. He and his partner, they bust a major drug dealer in kind of like in a residential area. That's where the film the story starts. Is they have that big bust, and they find there's a young woman at the scene who has a job ad on her, like a clipping from a newspaper ad, and it's in Spanish, and it's promising jobs in America, and that ad was the same one that they found, that a woman that they pulled out of the reservoir who had died, she had that same ad. So there's a connection. At the same time, there's a reporter who's working with a young man, a young dishwasher in the area named Jose, who's looking for his sister. And he gets worked over by some guys at a club. And so she goes to John with her information, and they work together on the case to kind of crack this open. And you start to find out that there's a human trafficking element to it, where women are being trafficked from Mexico into the United States. That the conspiracy goes all the way to the top. That it's a lot of old rich white men that are funding this thing and keeping it afloat. There's blackmail involved. And there's this main baddie who's like this rich guy named Roth Kensington. One of the things that I tried to incorporate, he has a hatchet man who's a former German Stasi that I kind of based off of Matthias Hughes. Like, you'll probably pick up some similarities to things that we've seen with Matthias Hughes in other movies, with that character. So things like that. There's another character that John Bainbridge, we get into like his history in Vietnam, where he learns to be he becomes special forces there. It's part of this thing called the Spartan Project, and so we get some of that history there. Just kind of, just sort of setting the stage for what we think this guy could be. So again, I think Will from Exploding Helicopter had asked like, how should I picture him? Is he a Wings Hauser type? Is he a Robert Ginty type? Ty mentioned Craig Fairbrass, and I think kind of any of those would work. I was thinking in terms of ethnicity, probably Caucasian, but I also think a Steve James could work in this capacity as the hero. I think more Steve James than maybe say like a Michael Jai White, or maybe a Don the Dragon Wilson, perhaps like maybe more a Byron Mann than a Don the Dragon Wilson. In terms of if you're not going with a Caucasian, but and it's something that maybe I should think about writing more. Is that do we maybe having him be not just a Caucasian, but maybe changing, having a different ethnicity, or even having it be a different character in subsequent volumes. It's like the same character but played by somebody else in a sense, maybe. So a lot of ideas that I've thought about there. But again, definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. Again, you can go on Amazon, look it up. The link is on Facebook and Twitter, and then I'll have the link in the description of this podcast here. So check out that link. And then you can read the first 2 chapters free of charge. They let you sample the first 2 chapters on Kindle. You can see what you think, see if you want to read more. If you do, if you've got Kindle Unlimited, you don't have to pay at all for it, right? You're already paying for Kindle Unlimited, so you can just preview it, or you just read it there. And I think I get credit for however many pages you go through. I don't know how that works. Or $2.99 gets you a copy of it on Kindle, and you own it on your Kindle device. And again, paperback is coming. According to Amazon, I should be getting the proof copy by Thursday, the 7th. So if I get it on the 7th, everything looks good, I'm going to just push it right out there. I don't remember how long it takes for it to go live, when that happens. But, hopefully it'll be soon. And again, I think what's going to happen is it's going to be a paperback copy that doesn't have a title or author on the spine. It's going to have a blank spine. I think that's what's going to happen because, again, it's so small. It's like about 80 pages. So it's also going to be a quicker read than any of the novels of mine that you if you've read any of my other novels, this is going to be much quicker. It's probably like 30,000 words, something like that. So I was trying to even figure out a good price point for it, and so this is where I kind of landed on the $6.99 and the $2.99. Yeah, and we'll see. But if I do more with him, I think it will be more of a novel, probably longer, like maybe in the 80 to 90,000 words. But we'll see what happens. But again, yeah, check it out. I would always appreciate it. Check it out and give me feedback. And of course, all my novels. Always checking out my work. That's something that I always appreciate when anybody can make that investment in purchase something like that. I know for me, that's probably the number one way. I don't want to say like it's the only way to support our work here, because I think everybody who reads, who comments on Facebook, all those kinds of things, I always really appreciate. And so, even just retweeting, if you see my book post on Twitter and you retweet it or repost it, whatever it's called now, even that means a lot to me. So, so even if you don't have the money to fork over for $3 to check it out, because I know, that's how times are now, and I always have to think about that myself, because there's so many things out there asking for our money, right? So many Kickstarters, crowdsourcing, I'm not the only one who's got a novel out, people have music out, stuff like that. So you always kind of pick them. I know, and like, for example, John Cross, who does the theme song for this, for our podcast here, I always try to pick up his newest album when he puts one out. He usually puts one out like an EP or something on first Monday of the month for Bandcamp Fridays. But see, he kind of got me early, right? I wasn't really giving money for any projects before that, so he got me early, But then Mitch from Video Vacuum, I was trying to get his books, Jacob Gustafson's books, and then I donated to the Kickstarter for The Baby in the Basket. So, but then it's like maybe I don't have much money left over for other Kickstarters. So I know like Jay Horton did Craving. It's like, well, I can't always give the money for his as well as somebody else's, but at least if I'm retweeting, that gets the word out to somebody else who might be able to do it. So that's probably the best way to think of it, right? Is you can only afford to give so much money to so many things, but a retweet's always free, right? A repost is free, or a Facebook comment is free, or a like, or even a like or a love, or any of those things will do the trick. So that's how I always try to manage it. I try with my Twitter to focus mostly on that kind of thing, signal boosting other people's work and other blog posts and reviews and those kinds of things. I do sometimes get caught up in little things. Robert Reich is someone I'm a fan of, and then of course, I'm still kind of on that cause of keeping the Oakland A's in Oakland. So whenever I see anything trashing the Oakland A's ownership, their president, or MLB for sort of being disingenuous about that move, trying to move Oakland A's to Las Vegas. I think Vegas should have a team. They just shouldn't have the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's should stay in Oakland. That's always been a cool city for me growing up to have a team. They've always been one of the coolest baseball teams, whether it was the Bash brothers with Canseco and McGuire, or that early 2000s team with Mulder, Zito, and Hudson, and those. They've always been, when they're good, they're cool. And I just think so. Other than that, I'm mostly trying to signal boost. I'm mostly trying to get the word out on other people's projects there. And I think it's always a good, it's always a nicer way. But anyway, I'm kind of going way off track here. Let's get into the blog post here. But again, get into the podcast episode here. But again, if you have a moment, you want to check out my novel, I always appreciate it. Check out my newest work, Bainbridge, which is on Amazon right now. All right, so let's get into the theme song, and then we'll start with the podcast. Here we are back. I've got Ty from Comeuppance back on the show here. Welcome back, Ty.
I'm back for two exciting movies to talk about.
Exactly. I was going to say someone who needs no introduction, but we do an audio-only podcast, so you still need, even if you've been on plenty of times, nobody's going to know unless I tell them.
Unless you'll recognize my voice or recognize Dolph Lundgren.
Exactly. Yes. Right.
I'm still striking for SAG-AFTRA. I don't have any direct contact with them, so it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. We talk about like so the movies before we get into our movies today, we'll do a quick what have you been watching lately? But the movies we're doing today, we're gonna be looking at hunting games with CT. So we're going back to the CT well.
Going back to CT well. Time to go. Oh, I guess you fell into the wall. This one. But,
right, exactly, for sure. And then we've got American Violence, a film with Rob Gronkowski.
Good old Gronk.
Yeah, which I will say it would have been better if the movie was American Violins and had Gronk. So if
that'd
he's
be
like,
great.
Yeah, playing the violin or something, that would be fantastic. But yeah, so just
does have a connection. Both of these movies.
Yes, there's a certain somebody who's in both of these. Certain cranky old man.
Cranky old man. I mean, like
yes.
Very cranky.
Yeah, he plays this. We've got Bruce Dern in both of them, and he plays the same "get off my lawn" character in both films. Even though he's doing other things. Yeah.
One of them was funnier than the other one. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny. He brings a certain "get off my lawn" sensibility to his performances, and so
there hasn't been a movie called "Get Off My Lawn," and it stars Clint Eastwood and Bruce Dern, and. But they remade "Get Off My Lawn" the movie, which was Gran Torino.
Yes.
After I only said Brad a couple podcasts ago, and he's like, "That is the "Get Off My Lawn" movie," because he says it. It's just "Get off my lawn."
Exactly.
It's just like it mostly sounds like Harrison Ford, but you can get all three of them.
Yeah.
"Get Off My Lawn" the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
The original Lawnmower Men.
Lawnmower Men. Right. Yeah, because I think that's the last Clint Eastwood movie I've seen. I saw it in the theater actually, but I think that's the last Clint Eastwood movie. He's done some other ones since then, I think.
Oh yeah, there's some movie called like Cry Macho. I think he punches one guy because he was like 92 years old or something.
Right.
It's like, if he's the same age as Gene Hackman, he's 92 years old.
Yes.
I was just looking that up the other day.
Yeah.
It's like I can only afford to punch one guy. It's like
right, exactly. Yeah, my wife will watch on MeTV. They have westerns on Saturday afternoons, and Rawhide's on there, so you can see Clint Eastwood as Rowdy on Rawhide.
Oh, that's his name. That's great. I need to watch Rawhide. I mean,
yeah.
I only watched The Rifleman with Chuck Connor.
Yes, yeah, that one's on after, I think. So I don't know the order exactly. Yeah, I think it's like Rawhide. Maybe Rifleman and Have Gun Will Travel, or the opposite order. But they definitely get that one in there as well. Have Gun Will Travel.
Well, that's a good segue into saying what you've been watching. I guess you've been watching those classic westerns.
Yeah, well, so the westerns, but then also another good segue is your Dolph impression, because I finally saw Come Out Fighting. So.
Oh, how was that? Did you like me in it?
It's Dolph, you were fantastic. Yeah, he was playing a major in that one, and he gets some roles, he gets some work in it, but it's not bad. Tyrese is in it as well. Michael Jai White is in it, so part of the reason why it was a good one because it's got Dolph and Michael Jai White. But yeah, it's right now it's only available to rent, so I think I wouldn't suggest so in my case with Xfinity or Comcast, every weekend we get one movie that we can rent for $1 if it's $5.99 or cheaper. So as a $1 rental, it was okay. But I think if you're paying more than that, I think it's better to probably wait until it comes out on, whatever streaming service that you have.
I know, I think it's Tyrese, he needs to go on Tubi here because I want to see The System.
Right.
That's the movie where he's a prisoner or something like that. And Jeremy Piven, or the Pivs, is the warden. So it's like, I guess he does stand-up comedy now. I think he just complains that, Wisdom of the Crowd was canceled, and that's all he says,
Yeah.
Remember that show when he was on that? Then he got canceled. So
Piven? Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, the Pivster, yeah. So Jeremy Piven was on a show called Wisdom of the Crowd.
Yeah.
Where there's people sign up for an app. This is like a procedural. So people sign up for an app to fight crime.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else fights crime with Jeremy Piven. I mean, I guess the idea is kind of interesting. I never saw it, but I remember seeing the ads for it, and then he got canceled.
Yeah.
And then Musho got canceled. So they double cancellation right off the bat. Right. I mean, I can see why he got canceled. He acts too much like his character in Entourage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny with the police procedurals because it's like they're always sort of like trying to almost like, I don't want to say redesign or reinvent the wheel. But it seems like they're always trying to come up with a new hook. And if the hook catches, right, you've got something that's good for like 15 or 20 years. But if it doesn't catch, it barely exists, right?
Well, for this example, for Wisdom of the Crowd, which I think no one's ever talked about this show as much as we have just now, but
right.
Back in when I was out, I think it was like 2017, maybe. People
Yeah.
still had like iPhone 10, so you have to update the app. Is that part of
Right.
it? I don't know. The app's not updating. I can't help these criminals or crimes.
Right.
Oh, but to answer your question, what I've been watching, which is I just finished Everwood.
Nice. Yeah.
All 89 episodes in the bank. Well, I wanted to honor his memory.
Yeah.
So I only went past the first season, but as I was telling you, I think I got sidetracked halfway.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still hear the sirens, even though we're on a different phone today.
Yes.
Never ends. Well, because I think halfway through the first season, I didn't get bored, but I think I just kind of forgot it was on. This is 2002, so you got to go back almost over 20 years.
Right.
So Born was on, 24 was on. So,
yeah, because I had forgotten about Everwood, and then my wife and I. So my wife, Jen, she's a huge fan of Mad Men, and she wanted me to watch it with her, and it was on Freevee at the time. We ended up subscribing to AMC Plus so she can watch it now. Because they got
there comes some more sirens.
Yep, you got more stuff. Yeah, I've got them here too. We live near a fireplace.
Hold on. Yeah, that's connected for you. Full of crime.
Yeah. You got a big event going on there. Yeah.
Or not. I don't. But I hope they're okay. So so you want Mad Men on Freevee?
Yeah, and so they had commercials for Everwood, and I had forgotten that Everwood. I'd forgotten it as a show. The ad they kept showing was Treat Williams was talking about moving the family, and
that's the first episode.
Yeah, and he says, who wants to move? Who wants to get a pony and move, or something like that, right? And
yes, and the daughter, her name is Delia, says, "I do."
Right, exactly.
Ephraim is the other son. He's always grumps.
Yeah,
but it's like he's one of these moody teens, classic moody teen. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
He gets moody at a drop of a hat. And then he gets a little bit better, and then he gets less moody, and then it's a quality show. I don't think there really was a dud episode.
No, and I had completely forgotten that big name Chris Pratt. Did he get? He got a start on that show, right?
He kind of did. Yeah, he's in some other weird stuff. He's in that show called The Huntress or something like that. For a second, that show's hard to find.
Yeah,
so maybe I could check it out. But yeah, he's all over the show. He's like the third lead basically.
Yeah,
no, it's good. It's a quality show if you watch on Freevee. I only have to, when I watched on Freevee at my friend's house, there were no ads.
Oh,
so. And then I watched it at home. There were ads, even though we both have Amazon Prime. So I don't know what that is, but
no, what it could be. This is something my wife had discovered with I think she looked it up and found this out, that with Freevee, and I don't know if there are other ones like this, but it depends on what time of day you're watching, because certain times of day. There's like if you watch like prime time, like evenings, I think you get like a ton of yeah.
Because when I watched at home around prime time, around like 7-8 o'clock, the ads weren't that intrusive. But when I went to the friend's house, I watched it all day.
Yeah,
and there were nothing. So it's very weird.
Yeah,
I don't even mind that. But all right, hunting games, right? CT and
right, exactly. We got a good transition. We got the Huntress into hunting, which is the Huntress. I forgot. That's the show that was on USA, right, with Annette O'Toole.
Yes, it was. Well, Annette O'Toole, yeah.
That was
not to get mixed up with Relic Hunter,
right, exactly, right. Those USA originals at that time, they were kind of like one step above syndicated TV shows. They started getting a little bit better, but at that time in the early 2000s, it was like you were watching. You might as well have been watching Relic Hunter or something like that.
I mean, the best part of Relic Hunter really is the part where she spins the globe in the opening credits. So besides that.
Yeah. If you ever catch old Relic Hunter episodes, Louis Mandylor, he had a reoccurring role, I think, and he looks so young in that it's really weird, because we see him in so much stuff now. Like he's turning into an Eric Roberts type where he just
and I just saw him in a movie too. I just watched Warm Texas Rain. It stars Stephen Bauer, Louis Mann, Fred Dreyer,
yeah,
our buddy Hunter, and
yeah.
Nicholas Hill. Nicholas Hill plays like this kickboxer, like bodyguard for Fred Dreyer. It's kind of funny. It's surprisingly decent.
When did that come out? Is that a recent movie or is it an older one?
No, it came out a while ago, like 97 something, or like maybe even 2000. But yeah, it came out a while ago, and I caught a good copy on eBay, and it's like, wait, there's punching and explosions in this, and erotic thriller elements. This is a winner.
Yeah.
It's like, and what Fred Dreyer you get is Fred Dreyer. He's always great.
Yeah.
I need to watch Land's End. I just can't get a copy. I guess I can go on YouTube. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Before we move into our episodes, I've always been a fan of Fred Dreyer. Yeah. One thing, I guess, one good connection as we get into our movies here. Fred Dreyer played for the New York Giants, and of course, the Giants were known as beating the Patriots twice during the Patriots' run of championships. So Patriots fans don't want to. I remember actually recently, because I have Patriots pajama pants. Like they really look like Patriots pajamas. They look like normal like Nautica or any kind of company's like flannel pajama pants, but they have a little Patriot logo on them. So I always forgot they were Patriots. And then one time I was getting our food here in Philly, that DoorDash or one of those places were dropping it off, and the guy's like, the guy who saw, he's like, oh, you're a Patriots fan. I was kind of like, yeah, because the Eagles fans hate the Patriots because they feel like the Patriots cheated in 2004 and robbed them of the Super Bowl. Even though they beat the Patriots in 2017. They just, anyway, so they haven't gotten over that yet. So I was getting ready to, kind of be like, yeah, I know the Patriots cheated and all that stuff. And the guy goes, yeah, I'm a Giants fan, so you probably don't like me. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't take it. I didn't actually lose the games. That yes, I root for the team, but I wasn't actually on the field, so I don't take it personally.
I only care about the people who paint their faces, because that really shows dedication.
Yes. Yeah. But my brother gets me tickets once a year to see the Patriots. So like he has a friend who has season tickets and he'll buy them. So like I'm going in November. We haven't gone the face painting route yet. So you have to do the tailgating because we park at the Enterprise rent-a-car place. They converted into tailgating because they can't do any business on days that the Patriots play. So we just kind of just park and just get food or whatever and just like hang out because you have to do that. You have to get there early. It's a whole mess to see a Patriots game. Like yeah, it's something I do with my brother. It's kind of like for us to hang out and stuff like that, and it's fun to go to a game with him and all that. But it is like an all day thing. Like like here in Philly, I could walk to the game and walk home.
That's perfect. Yeah. When you mentioned the Patriots, I guess I kind of have to mention the Deflatriots and Tom Shady. It's just like I know these are from the past, but I just can't help but laugh at those.
The best part about that is the sports radio show that I listen to out of Boston. It's called Felger and Maz. They troll Patriots fans a lot, and it was hilarious to have like these like Boston, like Massachusetts areas. I mean, essentially like CT, who we're gonna be talking about here. They all sound like CT, but they're all like physics experts. Felga, don't you know about the ideal gas law? The air comes out automatically, and all this stuff. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Brady was deflating the footballs. It's like, but it was like everybody was suddenly a physics expert who, didn't even.
That cracks me up. I guess that was a while ago, but let's keep it going. But we should probably talk about the movies we're talking about, right? Hunting games and Gronkers.
So we'll start with hunting games because hunting games, we're coming off the high of Most Dangerous Game, which was really a fun one. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you. I looked up, I saw that Chris the Brain on Bulletproof, he actually liked Most Dangerous Games as well. So we weren't the only ones who enjoyed Most Dangerous Game.
Think about that. I think Cash Van Dien really carried it. And of course, Judd Nelson's weird goatee. But it's
plus the Bruce Dern padding, which this film does employ a little Bruce Dern padding, which that always works. I think Bruce Dern padding.
And now we have some Bruce Dern in this movie as Henry Fairweather.
Exactly.
Jump right into it. You want to read the plot, and I'll go into the notes.
All right, let me do a quick synopsis here. So what we have, we start in a plane. Plane has been hijacked by Tito Ortiz, UFC star, light heavyweight champion, and he's taken over this this plane. There's an FBI agent on board, Agent Howell, and he's not really good at being an FBI agent. He he has a chance to just take Tito Ortiz out, but instead says, "Hey!" and Tito Ortiz turns around and shoots at him. So he ends up wounding Tito Ortiz, and Tito Ortiz jumps out of a commercial airline and to parachute out, which not sure how that works, and it didn't really work out for him, right? Because he's dead on the ground.
Yeah,
and
he's dead. Yeah, you get it for 2 seconds. Yeah, so, I think Spirit Airlines doesn't mind hijackings. I know people make fun of Spirit Airlines a lot. That's all I hear are jokes about them. It's like, yeah, the hijack.
You know what the problem would be for Spirit? The problem for Tito Ortiz with Spirit or with Frontier, he would have had to pay extra for the bag of money because it wouldn't have fit.
That's a great point. Yeah, you can't even steal. You need to pay. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It wouldn't have fit in the slot to show. It's like, no, that's a carry. That counts as a carry-on. It's not a personal item. You got to pay.
Your stolen cash is a carry-on with an extra fee, please.
Exactly right. Yeah, your stolen cash does not count as it won't fit under your seat, so you need to. Yeah. So
all your hijack money actually goes back to Spirit Airlines.
Exactly. All the added fees. Yeah. Spirit or Frontier. The funny thing about Frontier, I took Frontier back from Dallas when I went out to Dallas for a work thing, and I heard a woman on the phone talking to somebody, and she's like, that Frontier, man, they don't play. And I was like,
that's what I hear. They don't play around.
They don't play.
Right. It's a plot. So Tito jumps out.
So Tito, he escapes, parachutes out, he dies. And so Bruce Dern was the one who had financed this heist, and he's not happy that his money is not lying in the woods somewhere in Oregon. So he hires a guy named Blake or Darby. So I think it's Blake in the movie, Darby on the IMDb listing.
Yeah, I know. I got confused by that too.
Yeah.
Like, wait, his name is Darby or Blake? I don't.
Yeah. One or the other, but he's got a beard, he's got some training, and his plan is, instead of going to get the money right away, which Bruce Dern makes a really great point. Like, why don't you just go get the money now? Because
money. Why are you not getting the money? I'm Bruce Dern. I'm get the money. Right. That's your job. That's what he says. That's
right. Exactly. Right. I'm paying you to do this. And then like the guy's like, we're gonna have to renegotiate my fee. Of course you're gonna renegotiate your fee. Yeah.
I love that he's on Zoom. Right. And like they got Bruce Dern, but you have to have Bruce Dern on Zoom.
Yeah. Oh, this is a Zoom sit down role. This is what we joked about, like what the potential, like a whole one movie on one of the No Subjects we did.
Yeah, it was all Zoom, right? And now Bruce Dern is like he might be making a precedent on this. It's like a sit down role on Zoom where you can. Yeah, it's surprised you could hear him, but he's not breaking up.
Right. I guess he may have done his ADR in that sense, or maybe they just recorded it. And because you think about it, like with the recording software, I mean, we're just using Skype to record. Zoom, probably you can record on Zoom, and the audio is probably good enough that you just convert it to MP3 and then just run it through the,
Yeah, and makes it like Bruce Dern, like you can record him and like put him in AI and he does like rapping or something, or like he's singing. Like, that's what they do now, right? They have like Ice Cube sing like Johnny Cash or something. Like, what?
Right.
What's going on here? It's like,
What you could do too. You could Godfrey Ho Bruce Dern into like hundreds of movies. If it wasn't for SAG, I think that's why part of the thing that SAG is protesting against. I wonder if because they were talking about the AI factor. I wonder if it is like a whole like Godfrey Ho thing where it's like you could just essentially Godfrey Ho Bruce Dern into hundreds of ninja movies if you wanted to.
That'd be great. I'd be so great to see Bruce Dern as a ninja or maybe an evil. Not a bad guy, but he's obviously AI'd in, or
exactly.
Wouldn't it be great? I mean, then he just complained. It's all the dialogue from hunting games too. So it's like, that's your job, and go out there.
Why aren't you going out there? Yeah, exactly.
Why are you not going out there? I'm too old to go out there. I'm on Zoom. Exactly. I'm surprised you got Zoom to work.
Right. Right, I know his age. Right, maybe he had what we didn't see was his granddaughter was offset, like fixing it for him. Right, like, that would have been hilarious. If had to yell to her, like, "Honey, the thing's not working. It's got a cat." Have you ever seen? There's this one video during the pandemic. You see that with the guy with the cat, and he's like
I'm a lawyer. I'm not a cat.
Right. Like, the judge is like, "Yes, we know you're not a cat. What happened?"
Bite their tongues off from laughing. It's just like.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah, I
you
would have
gotta love
lost it. I would have lost it. Seeing like a cat. Yeah, so I mean, this movie
This is a
needed touches like
filter. Yeah, I
that.
love that. It's a filter. Like, I know
Yeah,
it's a filter, not a cat. It's like, that would be
right.
amazing though. Cat lawyer. And he
Yes,
just like some old Southern man, like that wasn't like, oh, I'm not a cat. And it's like, it's or be Bruce Dern. Bruce
right.
Dern as lawyer cat on Zoo.
Bruce Dern as cat lawyer. He would be
As cat lawyer,
fantastic
yeah.
at the voice. Yeah. And according to statute number 1,265,
Yeah,
this actually
that's
was
great.
illegal from the beginning. You never should have entered into this contract.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's perfect. It's like, ladies and gentlemen of the court, this is your job. Your
Right.
job is to have you be guilty or innocent.
Right, exactly.
But he's still a cat.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, yeah, and it does turn out that Bruce Dern is correct, right? That Darby slash Blake's idea of waiting. So Darby slash Blake's idea is he wants to wait until the morning because hunting season is opening here in this Oregon town, and it's a big deal that everybody goes out and hunts for the opening day of hunting season, which to me sounds like the most dangerous thing ever. That everybody's out hunting in the same space at the same time, but to each their own. But Darby's plan is like, oh, if we have hunting season, or if we do this during hunting season, if anything goes wrong, people will ignore the bullets. Well, something goes wrong, and what goes wrong is CT. So CT, he's supposed to be a local when he's definitely not. There's a really great scene. I remember the scene where he's out. They're at a bar, right? And Blake is outside having a cigarette outside the bar, and CT comes out and he's like, "Hey, can I bum a smoke?" And Darby's like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "You're not from around here, are you?" Right? It's like, well, where are you from, CT? If you're, like, you're from Oregon, like, yeah, you sound like you're from rural Oregon, you're Oregon. So I love that part there. And so he's kind of giving him the lowdown on what the hunting day's like. But anyway, CT is out hunting and he finds the dead Tito Ortiz and the money and takes the money with him. So yeah, I've got to ask Ty. Neither of us are my dad hunted, but I've never much of a hunter. But we probably don't have a lot of occasion to go out in the woods. But if you were to find a dead person and a sack, and not even a sack of money, just a sack, right, out in the woods, is the first instinct to go through the bag and see what's in the bag, or the first instinct to leave immediately and call the police?
I think leave immediately. You can call the police. So
Right,
it's like, I mean, let me see what else I got. Let me see what I got my notes. So okay, so CT's back. He's Will Walker, right? And there's a tree in the title. So it says hunting games. You see that tree, like in the logo?
Yeah. Will Walker. I'm Will Walker.
Yeah, Will Walker. And then he has a girlfriend, right? Paige. Or Billy. I mean,
No, Billy's not his girlfriend because his wife died, so he's not ready yet to move on. So Billy's like a friend,
right? A friend of a friend.
Yeah, and she has a thing for him. Billy wants to definitely hook up with him, but he's kind of not sure if he's ready yet. He's I think that's the idea there or something.
Well,
so
does she look like a fake Gwyneth Paltrow or Gwenny, as I call her?
Yeah. So, definitely, if you can't afford Gwyneth Paltrow, you're doing okay with her.
Well, what's funny is wouldn't that be amazing if Gwyneth Paltrow was in a Tubi original movie? I mean,
yes.
This is a Tubi original, by the way. So every Tubi original has something a little bit off about them. That's like there's something wrong. It's like,
hey, well, because what's interesting, right? Is Most Dangerous Game wasn't a Tubi original.
No.
So it is fascinating. You make a great point. Like, why does this one have something, and we'll get into why it's got something off. But anyway, I'll make a long story short. Long story short is CT takes the money, and his plan was he was going to bring the money himself to the police, we think. But anyways, he confronts Blake. They end up kind of shooting at each other. There's a little bit of he meets up with Billy. She says, "Hey, why don't we just keep the money?" He says, "No, we got to bring it back." And then when she gets killed, he kind of has a change of heart. He hides the money. He ends up surviving at the end, and the FBI agent Howell from the first scene is kind of like, we think you probably have the money, but all right, I'm not going to push it. And then CT takes the money, and that's the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, that's what I have here. I mean, I call it's very similar to A Simple Plan, of our buddy Gary Cole and Bill Paxton. I called it a simpleton plan. So that's. But mostly, it's just not very good because it's something weird about the movie. It feels like kind of static.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there's something wrong with the filming. There's something wrong with everything. I mean, Bruce
Yeah.
Dern, Danny Trejo, as you might hear a squeaky door because I'm doing this on a different recording.
Oh,
People are asking.
right.
People hear noises on things like chewing. It's like why are you chewing gum?
Right. Funny thing about that, because there's a podcast I sometimes listen to called the Ryan Russillo Show, and I guess one of the things was he would set an alarm when he would record to go move his car because I guess he was getting ticketed where he was parked in L.A. and the alarm would go off, and he thought the alarm wasn't being picked up by the microphone. And then he did this thing like, "Hey, everybody, give me feedback on the show," kind of thing. And he got like tons of letters saying, "What is the deal with that iPhone alarm going off on your podcast?" And the thing was, I guess they couldn't edit it out, right? Because he would be in the middle of a point and the alarm would go off. He'd stop recording and then just they would pick back up with where they were. So they couldn't edit out the alarm recording. So yeah, but yeah, it's kind of like along that lines. Yeah, people they hear something, they're like, "What is that? What's going on there?"
What is going on here? But yeah, let me see what else is going on my notes here. So yeah, so Dan Trejo is Sheriff Ramos. He doesn't really do much. You have to wait about 25 minutes to see him.
Yeah.
Like he just sits in a chair. Everyone's doing a sit down role.
Yeah. Almost, right? If he doesn't go to the hospital at the end of the movie, it's a total sit down role for him.
Yeah. I mean, I wish he did more, but see, I watched we watched Chavez Cage of Glory. He didn't do anything in that.
Right. He kind of stood around and let his minions do the bad stuff.
Yeah. He must have done that movie for free. I know we talked about it already, but just sound like I'm here, but I don't want to be here. Right. So yeah, then let me see what else in my notes here. The thing about fake Gwyneth Paltrow. Mm-hmm. What's that story from a few months ago? She like ran over a skier or something. Did you hear about this?
Yes, and it turns out the guy was a fraud.
Yeah, that's what's really weird. Why would you? Well, I guess if I had a chance to defraud or money, I guess.
right.
I guess there's a chance. She has all that Avengers money and sliding doors money.
Yeah.
So it's like
sliding doors money.
Yeah, she's rich on that.
Shallow Hal money. Yeah.
Yeah. Shallow Hal. Is that actually funny? I don't know. I never seen it.
I've never seen it either. I mean, it's the funny thing about it was that she did Shallow Hal. And then not long after, I think when she was dating the guy from Coldplay, she was talking about how Americans are so much less sophisticated than the Brits. And I was like, you made Shallow Hal. Like, I guess you're proving your point, right? That Americans are less sophisticated than the Brits. Like, because you're not any better.
Yeah, I'm looking at her. I'm not looking at her IMDb. I should. But I mean, like, I'm just doing it by memory. There's Shallow Hal. There's Hush.
Yeah.
It's like, I haven't seen, I don't think I have many Gwenny movies in my collection.
No.
I mean, I like Sliding Doors, the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess someone ran over Gwenny and then he got in trouble. I don't know. It's a weird story.
Yeah.
Like if you're skiing with Gwenny, you're doing fine on the money department. It's like
right. Exactly.
But let me see what else in my notes. Oh yeah, do you remember this from? I'm not sure when it was, but it was like there was like a radio announcer says time for some good old oldies.
Yeah.
But it's instrumental country music.
Right. Yes.
And it sounds like maybe Blues Traveler.
Right. Yeah. Which that felt like a low budget Miles O'Keefe movie from like the 90s, that kind of thing.
I know. I would have just kind of stuck to that. When I was looking up Tito Ortiz, though, he's in a movie, hopefully it'll come out soon, Operation Black Ops with Chris Cyborg.
Oh.
And I don't know if you've seen Fight Valley with Chris Cyborg, but her acting is fantastic. And it's just like, it looked like they were like in a cave or something. I don't know. They should be beating up people. But it looked okay. The trailer looked pretty fun. Perfect for this podcast.
Right. Well, because he was also in this movie that hasn't come out yet. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Trailblazers. It was one that Antonio Sabato Jr. made. According to the trivia, I guess like the people who made the movie with him are suing him because he wasn't paying them. But Dudikoff was also supposed to be in it. So so it would have been nice to get some more Dudikoff. But yeah, it just kind of completely disappeared.
I miss Dudikoff. I mean, is he in some weird movie where it's like Army versus Zombies?
Navy SEALs, Zombies versus Navy SEALs.
Oh yeah. Is he good in it? I mean, I missed the little dude.
It's essentially a sit down role. He's just sort of in a command center giving people orders, and it's very his scenes are very like dark and washed out. So
that's even more unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's see what's out. Yeah. So the fake blues traveler, and then I thought, well, John Popper, he could be an action star.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, I mean, you can say Popper,
Yeah.
Pop.
Yeah.
People say that in these kind of movies.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's right there. It's popping with action, John Pop.
Yes.
I mean, we're going to do No Subject next week.
Yeah.
So I don't have that, but just I have other ones, which we were writing down, around April or May.
Right.
Set up these No Subjects.
I know. Because it's just like an idea just kind of comes to mind. It's like, oh, hey, this could work. And yeah. And then
there's these long gaps between them because it's like, well, we need about 12 to 15 wacky ideas.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah, it's the 12 to 15 wacky ideas. And then also the scheduling thing. It's got to be a kind of thing where like, for example, because Brett's on them as well. It's a situation where it's like the three of us have the time all for it to work. But then also like for example, this weekend, you and I are doing this podcast.
Yes.
So then so that pushes it back another week. So it's a lot of different things that kind of come into play.
Yeah, now I have to get a new microphone. That's very realistic. I have a new microphone on this pod, but just we're all about realism here.
Yeah.
Just, let me see what else is in my notes. Okay, so it's still, the movie's kind of junky. It's okay at best. Oh, what do we say? What do we think about the movie? I thought it was just okay at best.
Yeah,
I
mean,
in the last two though.
Right. I mean, because the thing is, right, is that compared to Most Dangerous Game, which also had a bit of a junky feel to it, Most Dangerous Game worked on a lot of different levels. Like one, I think Most Dangerous Game, it's a classic story that's kind of always been, it's been used for a lot. And so that story works. Whereas this one is just so all over the place with the fact that one, why is CT taking the money instead of just calling the cops? It's just, like the way this kind of thing usually works, like you talk about like a simple plan or just sort of like in the normal course of it, right? There's usually a second person or a third person, there's like a group of people that come across the money. There's somebody who convinces everybody to take it, as opposed to just, I'm going to take it and give it to the cops myself, which makes no sense. The best scene, right, is when he gets into the initial standoff with Blake and his team of guys, and the guy's like, he's like, give us the money and we'll be fine. And CT's like, no, it's not yours. And I was it's not yours. No, it's not your money. No, you can't have it. It's not your money. He's like, well, it's not yours either. It's like, exactly. It's not. I mean, like CT kills two people in this, or two of the three guys with Blake, and like the cops are not going to just be like, oh, CT, you did a great thing for us. You're okay. You're fine. It's like, no, you should have called the cops like immediately. That when you shouldn't have taken the money and engaged the baddies at a standoff and killed them, because from the cop standpoint, they're going to be like, you wanted the money for yourself and you killed these two guys to keep the money, which again is, I don't know if it would be like first degree murder, but it would definitely be murder. He'd be going to jail for some time for this. So it's not like one of those things where it's just like, you did us a solid, keep the money, you're good. Like none of this stuff would work.
Yeah, I feel like this is the problem with Tubi originals. There's something I don't know who writes these, or there's like a committee, because every single one, just something is completely off. Yeah. Usually it's the pacing, which I thought was very slack. Yeah. And then, but it's like, it's kind of funny. Like, I like to know how this works behind the scenes. Like, okay, we have Bruce Dern. It's like, we have Danny Trejo. We have CT. It's like, let's make it a Tubi original. It's like,
writer of this was actually the same person who wrote Most Dangerous Game, Justin Lee. So it's the same person, but again, Most Dangerous Game is a it's a story that's existed for a while and worked for a while. This one, they try to do some different things with it.
I mean, I did think it was funny. Do you remember this part? There's a big explosion in the woods. Because I put all movies on subtitles.
Right. Yeah, me too. Like, yes, me too. Yes.
So it said dark electronic music.
Yes.
And it's like, that was great. And then what they had for their whatever budget this was, I guess it tried. That's why I'm not really like annoyed at it. It was just pretty dumb. I mean, it's like, and I guess it's good to support these Tubi originals. They're getting a lot of them now. I don't know if it's like one. Now there's like 15 or 20 to choose from, maybe more.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one that had Theo Rossi in it that I've been meaning to see. It actually said it's going to be going away soon. It's in the leaving soon section. It's like, so Tubi originals, they're actually taking down their own Tubi originals, which seems crazy.
That's not good.
Right, exactly.
Oh no.
Right.
This is like Disney Plus taking away all their Disney movies or whatever they're doing. It's like, well, what they call it now? Plus? It's like,
right. Yeah.
Oh, really? Which movie is that?
Would it be like former Tubi originals? Is that what they'd be called after they get?
Former, yeah. Just take the Tubi, that little sash off.
Right.
What's the Theo Rossi movie you wanted to see?
Oh, let me see. It's yeah, I think it's something like it's like the breakdown or something. It's like a name like that, but it's not, that's not what it is. But it's something in that line. Let's see. We got Theo Rossi here. The other movie he did one recently called Emily the Criminal with Aubrey Plaza that's on Netflix
Right,
now.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I've been meaning to see it. The Get Back. That's what it's called. The Get Back.
That might be on my queue.
Yeah.
I think you look up two movies like this and like, you want to watch The Get Back?
Yeah, because it's a Tubi original. Yeah. It looks like it's got Tretch in it as well.
Tretch and Theo Rossi? All right.
Yeah, Anthony Tretch, Chris. Yeah. Oh, Dermot Mulroney. Oh, Kim Coates and Dermot Mulroney. Wow, there's a whole bunch of people. We may have stumbled upon. I know. We stumbled upon something here.
Please tell me that Dermot Mulroney has his beard and bow tie, just like in the Section 8. It's like
there's no images of this movie. We don't know. We have no idea. We're going in blind. We'd be going in blind for sure.
Yeah, I have no idea. But Dermot Mulroney gets almost a lifetime pass just for that ridiculous performance in Section 8.
The fact that he Grecian formulaed the mustache, right? It was just the mustache, right? That he Grecian formulated.
And the bow tie.
In the bow tie. It was like, yeah, that was
amazing. I mean, as we said that in that episode, was that connected to what was it called? Operation Sea Hunt?
No. Sea Wolf, Operation Sea Wolf. No. It was like a tack on that we did. We did two Bruce Willis films, and then we tacked that one on.
It was White Elephant, and the other one, I think it was Wrong Turn or Wrong Place, and then we snuck on Section 8 at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if it was White Elephant. It was like, yeah, but we definitely it was definitely a tack on with It was a
tack on, yeah, because I remember that it was just a.
It was Corrective Measures, not White Elephant. Corrective Measures, another Tubi original, and Wrong Place. Yeah.
And then a little Section 8. So it's like,
yeah.
So yeah, I guess he almost gets a lifetime pass just for that movie, even though we've been waiting for this for a very long time, which we said on the podcast, but I don't want to repeat myself. No. So let's see. What else in my notes here? Oh, there was did you get the Nurtec ad of Lady Gaga?
Yes.
We get the same ads. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think the only ads we might get that are different. I don't know. Actually, I don't think these ads were on Tubi. Here in Philly, like if I watch baseball games on the MLB package, I get these local Pennsylvania ads about telling your kids not to drink, and it's like this like hipster like dad is like sitting at his kitchen island, and the daughter comes up and she's laughing, and he's like, "What's so funny?" And she's like, "Dad, you're drinking a kid's drink," and it's like it's like some kind of microbrew that has like cartoons on it, like a cartoon donut and stuff like that. And he's like, "I can see how you might think this is a kid's drink, but actually it's alcohol," and it's like. Get out, like, yeah, it's completely. So that might be the local one that we see that maybe you don't get there.
Yeah, I don't get that one. I got the Nurtec ad of Lady Gaga, and she was looking very much like Dee Snider.
Yes.
It's like, wait, Dee Snider or Lady Gaga? Oh.
Yeah. You can see Dee Snider in a horror movie, like looking like that, like he's like killing people dressed like that.
One Strange Land 2, he was supposed to make that, by the way.
Yes.
And he never did. It's like, I'm going to make Strange Land 2. It's like, waiting. Now it's getting a little ridiculous there, but okay.
Right, yeah.
I would want to say his band Twisted Metal. I'm just kidding. It's Twisted Sister. But, there's that Twisted Metal show I hear a lot about.
Yeah, there's like a movie too, a Twisted Metal movie that I think went straight to streaming.
It's a movie too, because I know there's a show as Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Will Arnett is what's it called? So he's like what's his name? Sweet Tooth? I don't know. I mean, I hear people like the show or the movie, but it's just like, I don't know. I'll get to it.
Yeah. It's a movie. Yeah, with Anthony Mackie. It's a movie. Yeah, but it's a movie. Oh no, it is a series. You're right. It is a TV series. Yeah.
Oh, it's a show because it's on the Peacock.
It's a Peacock original. That's what it was. It was a Peacock original TV. So it was never a movie. I was completely wrong about it being a movie. Okay. It was always a TV show.
You would think it'd be a movie, but I guess it's not a movie.
Yeah.
Let's see anything else I have here. I guess overall this movie was just. I thought it was okay. I mean,
yeah.
I think it needed more Bruce Dern.
Yes.
Like most movies do. But I like grumpy Bruce Dern. He must be so grumpy in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, like, So
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing, Bruce Dern, and we're gonna get more grumpy Bruce Dern coming
we
up
will.
here
Yeah.
for sure. I think the other thing for me about this is that I don't think we can't hang the fact that it works or doesn't work on CT. I think we get another solid
That's a good
CT
point.
performance, despite the fact that the character is all over the place.
Yes, that was a problem for me.
Yeah.
Like he's just jumping around. Like CT had a better performance in Most Dangerous Game, more
Yeah.
measured.
Yeah.
This
And
one
I
was
think,
it was jumpy.
yeah, well, that's the other thing too, right? Is that we had a really good baddie in Casper Van Dien, and that was the other thing too with CT's character in Most Dangerous Game is that he's just working opposite this really fantastic baddie by Casper Van Dien, and essentially the baddie was so good that it was developing CT's character, so he didn't have to worry about that part of it. But I think like the fact again, it. I don't know what you thought about this. It's like whether it was a good or a bad thing that they didn't care about his accent. Whether it was like like you think about like the Van Damme movies where they're always trying to explain the accent.
Yeah, he's a French Canadian man.
Right, exactly. Or like in Kickboxer, like oh well, my parents raised me in L.A. or my dad raised me in L.A. and our mom raised you in Europe. That's why I have an accent and you don't, or whatever. And it's like yeah, like this, it was just like, yeah, he's from Oregon with a mass accent,
That's Max. Like,
yeah.
What's funny about Van Damme? I think who has funnier excuses? Is it Van Damme or is it Schwarzenegger?
Yes,
like
right.
I mean, those are the best excuses. Well, Dolph Lundgren does. He speaks pretty good English, so he usually gets away with it.
Yeah.
Like,
even when he plays a Russian, he speaks with like a complete no accent. Like he's perfected the no accent.
Well, I rewatched it for 1 second, that Skin Trade interview with Richard Quest.
Yes.
And it's like the other day when I was talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's still funny. It's just like, and it was like, I think Dolph Lundgren, he has other, well, you can look him, he's all over YouTube, really. But I mean, I want, is he working on something? I have to check. Oh, you watched The Best Man, right? With Luke Wilson?
I did, yes. Yeah. He has a bunch of stuff. He's got 2 director things, like one that's in post-production, Wanted Man, and the other one called Malevolence that's in pre-production. So he's even still directing stuff at this point.
Okay, good. Because I need to catch up on well, what's that? Did you watch this Acceleration? Because I know it's Natalie Byrne, who might have messaged me on Instagram.
Yes, right.
I couldn't tell. It might have been it might have been like, don't forget to like her movies, 5 stars. Like, there's no star rate. All right, forget it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll count it. But I could mention I did get Jerry Trimble to comment and like on Live by the Fist yesterday.
Yeah.
Or Friday.
Which is that's fantastic that he does that.
He must see that because there's not many Trimbles to really post.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah, it was cool. He did that for Terminator Woman too. And I think One Man Army.
Right. And then also when we did the podcast episode on your podcast about he thanked us for that one.
That's amazing. Yeah. I think no one really talks about him anymore, which you guys you need to catch The Butcher, right? You haven't watched it yet?
Yeah, I still need to do The Butcher. I'm trying to do all the Jesse V. Johnson films anyway, and it's on Tubi. So
you're right on the topic. The Butcher's on Tubi? Okay.
Yeah. I think most of Jesse V. Johnson's like older stuff is on Tubi, so people can get in there and see a lot of his stuff on there.
And then the thing about Eric Roberts, I looked up Eric Roberts on Tubi, which there was a lot to choose from.
Yeah, yes, there is. You could do a month of Eric Roberts. You could literally.
That's an idea.
I think Madsen as well. I mean, like literally like 30 movies if you wanted to. I think for both of those two.
Yeah, I know. It's I'm on Tubi. I haven't done a Tubi original yet. I'm surprised he hasn't done Tubi. It's just both voices, my voice and Madsen. But it's like, I'm surprised he hasn't done a Tubi original. Eric Roberts or they must be getting close.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of if they do something, if it ends up being because I think Tubi originals, I think they pick up already done projects and just distribute. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where the two of them do so many movies that it's just going to be a matter of time before one of their movies is turned into a Tubi original.
I look for. Actually, there might be one. It's called like DC Down. I think I looked it up on Eric.
Yes,
Roberts.
That's Eric Roberts. That's right. That's a Tubi original. Yes, so he's done one. Yeah, that's a good point.
Have you watched that yet, or maybe?
No, I haven't gotten to that one yet. No.
We need. Well, I bet he's barely in it, but maybe we could do that one soon.
Yeah, I mean that might be a good combination, right? DC Down and the Get Back. That could be a good Tubi original.
Do that one.
Yeah, I know we're also thinking about doing John Malkovich on the Skid. So we've got some ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Malcolm and the Skids. What's that? I think it's Chariot and Mind Cage. I think that was the movies, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Unless you can sneak in Savage Salvation, which is.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get that because the cable company near us is only doing it as like a buy thing. Like you can buy it to have it as opposed to rent it. Yeah. I just want to rent it. That's enough for me. I could,
I'm surprised this isn't on Hulu. I mean, because Randall Scandal's still on Hulu.
Yeah.
I think rumor has it Mr. Randall Emmett.
Yeah.
He's not happy that's on there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's delaying the release of Savage Salvation on Hulu.
Yeah. You never know with these kinds of things because it doesn't make any sense. Like why that one isn't, but everything else is.
Gardner, On the Line, all the movies we talked. Oh, The System, as we just talked about. All these movies are still waiting, and I haven't checked The System lately. Maybe I can do another check. But I checked On the Line. It's still not on Tubi.
Yeah.
So I might just buy that one.
I mean, I might do the same thing with Savage. So I can rent Savage Salvation on Prime for $3. So maybe I just bite the bullet on Prime and do $3, and we can make that one happen because it is one we need to do. With especially with De Niro, and like I said, Malkovich, we could do it. It would be a great one to do for Malkovich on the skid, Malky on the Skids.
Because I think I told you this last time I talked to you. I did watch Savage Salvation, so it's like half drama, half action. It's really it's mostly drama. I'm not kidding. It's like 65-70% a drama.
Yeah.
And 30% action. But what Malky you get is good. What Malky on the Skids you get is, oh my god, he's on the Skids.
Yeah. And I feel like too with us, just to give everybody a heads up, the episode on your podcast that we did, the Righteous Kill one, a lot of people really enjoyed that one. So
great to hear that. Thanks. I know you're talking about Richard Hawes.
Rich was a fan. Yeah. It was people and I mean I think we listened to it back and really liked it. So I think getting some more De Niro, us gonna be able to do more De Niro.
Yeah, he needs to do more garbagey movies. He stepped into this a few years ago. Killing Season, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now with these actors strikes, I guess they can't work. But when they go back to work, back to Randall. But I guess we could wrap up Hunting Games.
I think I think we're there. I mean, so I think from a Tubi original standpoint, so the thing I was hoping with Hunting Games, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, that we're hoping for a good double feature with Most Dangerous Game, but I think this one doesn't really touch the fun quality.
Doesn't. Okay. I mean, I guess I cut this movie a lot of slack.
Yeah.
Because the other two were so bad last time.
Right, exactly. Well, that's the thing. This is better than like an Emmett Furlong Oasis Willis flick. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing you can say.
I don't remember what was that one? Oh, it was Detective Night.
Yeah. We haven't gotten to the other two Detective Nights yet, but I think this one for sure, Hunting Games is better than Detective Night. Like you're gonna.
Yes, I'll agree with that. And I know that Assassin's now on Hulu, so that's something.
Yes, that's one we could do for sure. I mean, I think this doesn't have the cynicism of like a mass-produced Emmett Furlong Oasis, like let's just bang this out in 2 weeks in Georgia kind of movie. It has a little bit something more to it than that. It doesn't have the special quality that Most Dangerous Game had.
That's an amazing point. That's a great little button on this movie because didn't make it. It was okay. You can't be Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah.
Which I think we're being very fair to this movie.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I have to say.
It got points for earnestness and it got points for CT's accent and it got points for Bruce Dern padding. I think,
that was good. So, and besides that, and that's what saved it, the Bruce Dern padding. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. Perfect. So
it's a great segue to our next movie. I know we have to.
Yeah. We'll take a break and then then we'll get into American Violence, which again, not to be confused with American Violins. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Great.
Hey everyone, we'll get back to the podcast in a second, but first I have a new novel out, Holtman Arms. It follows Colvin Hall, an aspiring writer who decides to write a romance novel on a whim, sends it to a publisher, and it becomes a huge success. The only problem is, no one knows it's him because he writes under the pen name Mary Ballantyne. With all of the money and none of the fame, Colvin longs for the world to recognize his accomplishments. When he gets an opportunity to write a freelance article on a washed-up 90s pop star looking for a comeback, that recognition starts to come, but is it all he hoped for? It doesn't matter, because he's getting it whether he likes it or not. Holtman Arms is the second in my author's cycle after A Girl and a Gun, and like that previous novel, it explores themes of success and accomplishment in the 21st century. You can buy it now through Amazon in paperback or on Kindle. The link is in the podcast description. As always, thanks for your support.
Back, and we are going to do our second part of our Massachusetts look. So we started with CT. Now Gronk isn't from Massachusetts. I think he's from like the Buffalo area, but of course he's a hero in Massachusetts for his time with the Patriots. It's probably the best tight end of all time, but of course also him as a character. He's a
fun character. The Gronksters. It's like, I know we're not sure we're going to be calling this episode. Yeah, I know there's the controversial title.
Right. Just to let people know, we were thinking about either. So Massachusetts Mayhem, I think, was probably the best one. But thinking about like Mass Hole double feature, of course. And I don't know that with Spotify, I don't know if they would flag it for something like that. But
it could be flagged. It's right there.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember one story about that term masshole, because of course growing up in Maine, that was like the big thing. Like people from Massachusetts coming to it was like a catch-all term for all tourists outside of Maine who would come to Maine and kind of clog up the streets. It was like, there's massholes here, whatever. Yeah. But I remember we were going to see a soccer game in Foxborough where the Patriots play. It was the David Beckham game when David Beckham was first playing in the MLS, and we were crossing the street over, from like this huge thoroughfare that was like kind of just blocked off for driving. I don't remember what it was, but there were cops there. And my buddy's wife, who's from Calgary, from Canada, so she doesn't quite know a lot of those interplays. But anyway, she was like, are these like all local cops or are they like masshole state troopers, something like that? We were like, don't say the word masshole in front of all these people, or whatever. But we were thinking about that one or just Massachusetts Mayhem. The other expression my friend used to say, maybe he picked this up from somewhere else, but he would use, instead of saying Massachusetts, he would say massive two tits. So another one that probably would get flagged as a title.
If it's not flagged, then you can't have this on.
You can only work so blue. With these.
Exactly. You can work blue on the recording, but on the title, you gotta be careful. So it's like,
exactly. But I'll give a quick synopsis of this one, American Violence. So it's got Kaiwi Lyman, who I have seen him before in a movie called Assassin's Tale. That was like a screen that had Anna Silk in it. So I've seen him around before, but he plays this character named Jackson Shea, who at the very beginning of the film we see he murders Bruce Dern, which Bruce Dern just seems like a doddering, crabby old man who gets murdered in a random act of violence, and we're like, oh boy, this is horrible. And then we get Denise Richards as a professor, a doctor of psychology who.
Right, Amanda Tyler. She's
Amanda Tyler. Yeah, and she's telling us all about her theories on criminal justice and how it's what makes a criminal, and she's kind of in favor of the death penalty because there's a case of a person who was let out of jail, which it's funny that there's it's like a binary. You either have the death penalty or criminals can just go out in the street and kill everybody. There's no life imprisonment or any other rules like that, right? Like it's just you either get executed or you go out and kill again. But anyway, after she's done with her lesson, an assistant DA comes in and says, "Hey, the governor wants you to look into this case because they're thinking about maybe giving this guy a stay of execution." And the guy's making it sound like her ideas on the criminal justice system are very like overly conservative, and he's making it sound like you've got to have room for thinking about other things, and almost like he's making it sound like, hey, we want you to find a reason to give this guy a stay of execution. So she goes to interview him and she learns about his life, and it turns out it's much more complicated. He was abused as a child. He was sexually molested. He attacks his uncle who had molested him, ends up in jail. In jail, he meets Michael Pare, who helps him with this scam.
Martin Big,
right? Which
pretty good job, Michael Pare.
Yeah. Well, he might be one of the best parts of the film, and I appreciated the fact that he was Martin Big and not Martin Bigga from going back to the last episode we did together.
Right. It was I wrote her name. I forget their names.
Yeah. But he was Winna and Brigga, which we
Thank
do
you,
get Johnny
Winna.
Mesner again. We've been seeing a lot of Johnny Mesner in
He's
these movies.
everywhere. He's in almost
Yeah.
all these podcasts we record now. He's just his Mesner's
Yeah.
hanging out.
Yeah,
that would be CT's name in hunting games, Brigga or Winna.
Yeah, it's like how much Mesner can you get? But we get what happens is that this Jackson Shea person is with Paray. They're stealing from doctors who are ripping off insurance companies. They're stealing the cash from them, and then ends up Michael Paray steals from Nick Chinlund, who is a
the great name, by the way.
I love Chinlund. Anytime we can, I'm surprised we haven't had more Chinlund on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Chinlund is kind of underrated a little bit. I know he's all over. I think Con Air probably one of his biggest movies.
Yeah, the Chronicles of Riddick movies. He was in those.
So he's a lot, and I think he's definitely in these goofy movies we watch for sure. Yeah. I've seen that name for.
Yeah. Chinlund's been around. So he's a crime boss who it turned out he was using the doctor to launder money through that scheme. And when they steal like $600,000, it's this Chinlund guy's money. So he tortures and kills Paray. And this guy Jackson Shea wants revenge, so he does. He gets revenge and kills him. And then he ends up working with Patrick Kilpatrick, a crime boss in Texas who does big thefts, and he's helping like they're robbing a bank with Johnny Mesner is essentially what it is.
And of course, Gronk.
Right, we get the Gronkster in there. The Gronkster is the take care of business guy, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Kilpatrick hires Gronk to be the take care of business guy as Brad, and he does. But the only thing is he saves the daughter, who the daughter is hooking up with this Jackson Shea guy. They're not married yet, but they're close or something like that. But they're in love together, and Gronk saves her. But I mean, his one scene is the best scene in the movie, perhaps. It's probably the best scene out of both movies.
Do you want to get right to Gronk, or do you want to wait?
I'll wrap it up real quick in the fact that he gets arrested. Jackson Shea gets arrested. Bruce Dern we find out that Bruce Dern is the warden at the prison he's in. He's not a good guy, and he breaks Jackson out of jail to commit a robbery or to kill these two drug dealers who are making a big drug deal to take the money. And then he turns on him, and the girl ends up being killed. So this Jackson Shea guy, he wants revenge. That's where the murder that we see at the beginning of the film. It's not a random act of violence. It was a targeted killing because he was getting revenge. And then Denise Richards says, "Hey, I want to I think we should give this guy a stay of execution." Suddenly, this assistant DA guy who was all like, "Yeah, we want you to do, to find a stay of execution." Suddenly, he like completely turns on her and is like, "No, you can't be doing a stay of execution." Blah 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 blah. And he's like all like really like combative with her and stuff, which makes no sense. And then the governor denies the stay of execution, and our guy gets put to death through lethal ejection, and that's it. That's the movie.
The assistant DA, he's played by Columbus Short.
Yes.
And I know he's in that movie called Stomp the Yard.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Thing in college. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
But I always think it's probably silly.
Yeah.
You got served.
Right.
I mean, that's not good. You don't want to get served.
Yes. No. That's, yeah. I think they made sequels to You Got Served. I think I
kind of want to see. I've been interested.
I've seen You Got Served. I reviewed it for the site. I reviewed You Got Served for the site when I would do like the wildcard posts. I think it was like a time. I think I did that one and the Britney Spears movie Crossroads. It's like a joke.
What a double feature.
Yes, exactly. It was something like that. It was like some kind of two joke movies kind of thing. So Stomp the Yard could be he played. There was also a Stomp the Yard 2, The Homecoming. So
because I want to Stomp the Yard, but I never had a chance to.
Yeah.
So it's like. So American Violence. So, we'll go right to Gronk. He was the best part of the movie.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And he had a suit. He was shooting people and 2 guns. It's hilarious. It's like what Gronk could get, which is not much.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And then thankfully Michael Paré did a good job.
Yeah.
I thought. Well, what do you think?
No, I agree with you on both accounts. So the Gronk thing, the way they set the Gronk thing up is it's like he's this fun-loving, goofy guy, and you almost get the sense that like he's the one who's going to screw up the whole thing, right? That he's going to be like in the he's supposed to be. We think he's like the getaway driver, and we think he's going to do something to bungle the whole thing. And then we find out, no, he's the take care of business guy when things go wrong. And he's just like, he notices that the whole thing is going sideways, and he just gets out of his car completely serious and just starts shooting people and like, it was classic. I mean, it's a kind of Gronk that you would see if you watch the games, you would see that Gronk because, he's so big and like defenders would just keep like smashing his knees and like attack, and he would get really fed up and start like throwing defenders away. Like when he, there's one classic one where this little cornerback was like, who's trying to guard him was like hanging on him, and he carried him into the end zone and then threw him, and everybody was like, "What happened there, Gronk?" He's like, "Hey man, it's like a bouncer. I had to throw him out the club," and it was like,
you need more stuff like that. That's why he needs his own movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were talking about how we think a good buddy cop movie with him and CT would be like exactly what we need.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was going to connect that to my notes. It's like, that'd be great. It's like, it's too good of an idea. Yeah. So that helped a lot. I thought this movie was just once again okay at best.
Yeah.
Because it kind of dragged. I thought with all this because it was trying to be like Dead Man Walking.
Yes.
It's trying to be like Heat a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, or maybe even Last Dance. So it's like a mixture of these death row dramas and maybe some action. Well, that's why seeing Gronk was so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, Gronk? It's like,
right, exactly. Yes.
It's like, okay, I love me some Gronk. It's like, and you got the beginning, which I thought was ridiculous. You got Bruce Dern, he's ranting about my peanut butter sandwich.
Yes, right.
Like, oh, not again.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, you got the American. Oh, wait, Bruce Dern's right in the beginning, right there.
Yeah.
He's like, where's my sandwich? And he also eats ice cream, and then he, I guess, passes away. Right. But it's like, I mean, that was funny. It was very slasher,
Mm-hmm. The opening was like the opening makes you think that this is just going to be like some kind of like random acts, like crime in America is out of control, and
I was thinking it really didn't know much, But that was great. I liked the beginning. I thought it was like kind of wacky.
Right.
And
right.
It was like, okay, then it gets more boring with the Denise Richards stuff, which I watched her. What was that movie? Money Plane. Did you see this, or you probably heard of it?
I've heard of it. I haven't. Is that the one with Kelsey Grammer?
Yes, Kelsey Grammer and I think Thomas Jane, and Denise Richards and Joey Lawrence.
Edge and Christian fame.
Christian.
Edge and Christian. So like the wrestler Edge of it was like
the guy who looks like Edge, right? Yeah. So maybe
I think he's like Edge. I think it was because I think it was Edge and Christian were the two wrestlers, and so he was Edge of that pair. I think
it's very ridiculous.
Yeah,
Money Plane. I mean, I think I even sent you a picture maybe a year or so ago when I watched it of Joey Lawrence's we'll just say hair.
Right.
Right. It's just to say odd.
Right.
I mean, or not real whatsoever.
Yeah, because we talked about. I had suggested this as a potential one for us doing, and you were like, I guess, it was kind of like, yeah, like I don't know if we need to do that one. I think this was the one.
It was Money Plane because I think I would have watched it. I think I watched it earlier. I would have. I watched it again. I don't know, but no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're out of stuff after Malcolm and the Skids or something like that, I can rewatch Money Plane because it's pretty funny how bad it is.
Yeah, it looks like a trip. It looks,
like actually it's kind of funny. I mean, it's on Tubi. I don't have the Tubi up.
Yeah, I think it's on Hulu now. I think. Like,
I got it on DVD. I think.
Yeah. It looks like it's on Hulu now. So.
It's Hulu or Tubi. So you got two great choices.
Yeah. You gotta love it. It looks like it's got all three Lawrence brothers. It's got Joey, Matthew, and Andrew. It's
amazing. I think that part is really funny. Maybe I will watch it. I don't know. Maybe I
let's see. Or something. Let's see what the length is, because that always hurts. Well, it's an hour 22. That's always a nice, I gotta say, like, that's one thing about American violence.
Yes, that's a problem.
145. I think.
Yeah.
It's, I think that's a big thing when a movie. Anytime you get past, an hour and a half, you're on borrowed time. This thing is closing in. This one's 17 minutes over, and I think it like you said, it was like trying to go down like this whole dead man walking thing, but it got a little bit carried away with itself. I mean, there's also a middle ground between like person who commits random acts of violence and then person who maybe commits a murder but doesn't like get involved in all these high stakes heists, right? That like
we had this problem. It's like there's something wrong because it's trying to be more than it is.
Yeah,
you got that corrupt cop also talking to Chinland. It's like, whoa, what's that? I mean, like,
right.
And then we got Michael Paré, who was fun. I mean, he really was
Paré was good, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I almost stole the movie. I also thought Denise Richards' daughter in the movie was fun.
Yes, exactly.
Hi, Mom. Hi, bye, Mom. I love you, Mom. It's like, okay, I enjoyed that. And then Jack Shea, or what was his name in the movie?
Jackson Shea. So the actor's name was Kaiwi. I think it's Kaiwi Lyman. Yeah.
So like Kaiwi's like yelling at Denise Richards, TikTok.
Right.
Like,
right.
Whoa,
yeah. Then they get rid of the TikTok thing. It's like they do it at the beginning, and then suddenly it's just like, well, I'm just going to tell my story now. It's like,
I know. It's like,
that's
why the movie seems a bit confused.
Yeah.
And, let's see here. Remember the part with the security guards? Like, to go upstairs and steal the money. I don't care.
Right, like, exactly.
That was funny. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And also, like Patrick Kilpatrick's name was Charlie Rose in it.
Yes, which that is fantastic. I agree with you there. Like that definitely.
It's like, wait a second, isn't that one of our favorite hosts who's hosted The Dark? Also got maybe in trouble.
Yes, it would have been nice if somebody else was named Garrison Keillor. Like if there was like more like PBS, like like NPR names. Well, I can't remember the car guys. If they just had two people named the car guys, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that because like his name is Charlie Rose. So whose name? Like Mike Wallace, another name you can use. It's like Don Lemon or Donovan Lemon, maybe. It's like this secretly used broadcaster names, like Pete Jennings. Well, see, Walter Cronkite, that's kind of an old person name.
Yes,
it's like that's like that. That's gonna be an old man. It's like,
they snuck in enough, I guess, but it was one of those things where it's like, like you said, like it was like was like there should have been more of that kind of thing, and it seemed like they just hold
him back. I thought held back on the silly.
Yeah,
it was trying to be so serious, but he knows it wants to be silly because you got the Gronk factor.
Right.
You got the freaking Gronk in your movie. You need more Gronk.
Right. And then also the whole thing with Bruce Dern being an ice cream cone eating warden. Right.
Like I'm bald. I did not work here anymore. I eat ice cream. It's like,
exactly. That's
this is ridiculous. See, that's what I like. I don't think Bruce Dern cares anymore.
No. No, wow. Bruce Dern has leaned into "Get Off My Lawn" as we mentioned. Though to be fair, in Most Dangerous Game, he's not doing a "Get Off My Lawn" thing. He's just doing a straight up padding routine that was fantastic.
Yeah, interesting. So he knows what to do. It's like, is this going to be padding, or is this going to be "Get Off My Lawn"?
Do you need me to monologue for 10 minutes to pad out your film? Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah, and then I think this is probably. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think. His performance in Hunger Games is funnier than American Violence because it's so lazy,
right?
It's so unnecessarily done.
Right.
You can't help but laugh. This one, he actually there. It's like on set.
Right. I'm actually wearing an outfit. I'm wearing a costume. I'm dressed up like a warden eating ice cream cones.
It's so that must have been improv by Bruce.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat ice cream because I'm kind of hungry. I'll be in this movie. It looked like it was strawberry ice cream. Maybe.
I'm not doing this film if I can't eat ice cream. Yeah,
it's 100% chance he said that.
Right.
Like, can I eat ice cream in the scene? Sure. Okay, but I'll say your stupid lines about. It's like I don't know what it was like being retired. He should retire. He looks like he needs to retire.
Yeah.
In this movie, well, it's like, was he wearing like a short sleeve shirt as a warden, or
yes,
maybe.
It was a short sleeve warden shirt for sure. Yeah,
it's kind of like when the UPS folk break out the shorts.
Mm-hmm.
It was very hot for Bruce Dern. He can't be wearing a long sleeve warden shirt.
Oh,
It's like,
I guess he was in Texas. Maybe is that because it was
yeah,
because everything happens in Texas. I think, right?
you're right. Mostly
Yeah.
Texas. It's probably hot there, so it's like I'm kind of hot. That's why you eat ice cream all day. I mean, ice cream. I mean, I gotta say, we're doing Malky on the skids soon. I mean, Bruce Dern's already on the skids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta double check any more Bruce Dern on the skids movies like this because this is pretty funny.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
is
he's
like
got to be
way
doing them, right? I mean, oh, you know what's funny? I was looking. I just
Go
kind
ahead.
of he did a movie called The Peanut Butter Falcon, which the idea of him doing anything with peanut butter after this film, where he's complaining about, I want my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, he has another
Yeah.
Tubi
Oh,
original called Butch versus Sundance.
I just looking it up right now too,
Yeah.
and see that he's in a movie called The Weapon, which I think we talked about. It
Oh,
has
right.
Tony Sheena. It's an amazing cast. You got Tony Sheena, you got Bruce Dern, Chuck Zito, Sean Patrick Flannery, Richard Grieco,
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, and it's directed by Tony Sheena. This could be a potential movie. And same with this other movie I looked up, Tito Ortiz. And it's directed by the same director, Timothy Woodward. Great. Well, I just had the title. But it was here it is. Silencer. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it. Yes. Oh, Silencer. Yes, with
Tito.
Ortiz. Yeah, that one's on Tubi as well, right? I think.
Yeah, so we can have a potential double feature with Silencer and the Weapon. The Silencer Weapon. I mean, that's like
Love that.
it's right there. Silencer Weapon. It's like what?
Yeah, I mean, because again, you get these ones with these names in them, and it is kind of. I mean, Richard Grieco. We haven't done anything with Richard Grieco yet.
No, no
It's
Greco, no Cuba.
yeah, Cuba Gooding. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, obviously we've done De Niro. I was going to say, I don't. Well, actually, I don't know if we've done De Niro on this series of them. We've done them.
No, we have not. Not yet.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think
Like,
if Cuba would be the first Oscar winner that we've had on
well,
these.
it's the people who should have won Oscars, like Dolph Lundgren and Dermot Mulroney. But it's like,
Exactly.
but they. Oh, I was gonna say about Bruce Dern. Yeah, in this movie called The Weapon, he plays someone named Doris.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's got to play Doris. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta be Doris. You have to be if you're Bruce
I'm
Dern,
gonna
right?
be Doris. I'm Doris in The Weapon. I'm in the.
I wanna, just make my character name Doris. That's
yeah.
it.
Look at. I mean, I think Bruce Dern definitely needs to be looked into a bit more because he's making a lot of these garbages. It's just like, what is this?
He's in
thing?
his 80s.
Overrun.
He's born in 1936, so he's like it says he was born in 1936, I believe. Which yeah, he's like nowadays I've noticed a lot of actors don't put their birth year because they don't want you to know. He doesn't care. I was born. He's probably proud of it. Yeah, I was born in 36, and I mean, so in 3 years he's gonna be 90. I don't know if he's still gonna be making these when he turns 90, but maybe he's doing like what Bruce Willis did, where he's just like, I'm gonna make as many of these as I can and then call it a day. But
he seems like he's somewhat with it. He's just acting grumpy. It's
right.
Like,
Yeah.
this movie looks like a winner on Tubi. Overrun. Have you heard it? Has Johnny Messner, William Catt,
Oh man.
Robert Miano, Nick Turturro, and Bruce Dern.
Yeah. I mean, anytime we're getting more Messner. I mean, I'm wondering too because this movie that we're talking about, American Violence, came out in 2017, so it came out 6 years ago. So at that point, Bruce Dern was just 80, right? So he was just 80 at that time.
Just 80.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if like now he's older at this point where he's getting closer to 90, where he's just like, put me in front of a webcam and just do my scenes from Zoom, and that's enough for me.
That's really a pretty good point because there's this movie called Overrun. He might be actually in the movie. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I also because it has and Bruce Dern's name is amazing in Overrun. Arkady Dubkova.
That's great.
Okay.
So he's playing a Russian? That could be even better.
Yeah.
That could be fantastic. Das Vidanya, asshole.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That's the way I please say that.
Yeah.
If he just doesn't care, it's just amazing. I mean, this is funnier than almost Bruce Willis, another Bruce. Well, they were in Last Man Standing. I forgot about it. That was a good movie.
Yeah, I mean that was like a legitimately good.
It was a really good movie. That was only over 20 years ago. Almost 20 years ago. That was.
Well, that's right.
a good movie.
He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Tarantino film in 2019. So
So that's
yeah,
pretty,
yeah, he's still making stuff. And of course, the Nebraska, right? That was like his big.
that was like
That
his
was
almost back. But then after Nebraska, he's doing this. Look at this one here: Death in Texas.
right.
Laura Flynn Boyle, Stephen Lang,
Yeah,
Ronnie Jean Blevins.
yeah. I mean these
That name
2020s. I mean, he essentially goes into 2020 and it's just like, I'm maybe like the whole pandemic thing, it created like this anarchy in him where he's just like, I'm just gonna do whatever, and yeah.
And like he just wants to work. He'll do anything. He'll stay on Zoom or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, anything else to say about this movie? Oh, okay. So,
yeah,
Denise
go ahead.
Richards,
Yeah.
So, I know that she was kind of talking with gritted teeth
Yes.
a little bit. Like, I'm tough. I'm like a professor. It's like
She was much better. I think Denise Richards was much better in Altitude, the Dolph Lundgren film.
yes.
This was not a good. I mean, and again, the problem is the movie itself was was all over the place. And I think if the movie's all over the place and it's her having to stretch as the character, I think it's harder to stretch, And there was just like one of those things where it was just kind of
having trouble.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah. And I mean, she wasn't the only one, I think a lot of people were with this, it was just yeah. Altitude kind of shows you how to make a movie like that. Like they just, compact, easy, quick to the point. It had everything that you want in it. This was like trying to make a statement about society. And I think it's always hard to make a statement about society when you're making a low budget. I don't want to say actioner, but when you don't have a lot to work with, it can make it a little bit tough.
Point. He's doing a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And it's like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work when you have Gronk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Because I was looking at Timothy Woodward's career, and it's very interesting. I have a movie I haven't watched yet. It's called SWAT Unit 887.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Because it has Tom Sizemore, Michael Paré, and Misha Barton.
Yeah.
And I love me some Misha Barton on the OC.
Right, of course.
Because her flat affect is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the stupider version of Everwood, kind of. Because Everwood is kind of a smart, intelligent program, and the OC is just kind of just dumb. I mean, not that it's a bad show, it's dumb.
Yeah.
Because you got that Brooding by Ryan Atwood. I think that's the character name. I forget the actual actor's name right now. But
on OC. What was that actor's name? Because he was also on Gotham.
Oh, Ben McKenzie.
Yes.
So it's like, it's hilarious to watch the OC. I watched the first season a couple years ago. I need to get up with season 2, but the Brooding is hilarious. It's like slow motion brooding.
Mm-hmm.
There's like he's like, oh my. Marissa, I love you, Marissa. I guess we loved brooding teens in the early 2000s.
Yeah, they had to be good looking enough, but once you're beyond that part, it was, I mean, the coolest thing that I remember from the early OC was because I always liked Rachel Bilson's character more than Misha Barton.
Summer.
Yeah, Summer. And I remember there was a scene where she was playing Galaga, which I thought was the greatest thing ever. I think it was Galaga.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I was just like, this is fantastic. And of course she has the moment in the movie where she dressed as Wonder Woman for what was that? Adam Brody, is that the actor?
Yeah, Seth Cohen.
Yeah, Seth Cohen. Yeah. And so it was like one of those things where it was like she was supposed to be like the plain, I don't know the plain Jane character, but that was another thing that they were still doing in the 2000s, where the brunette was the plain one, and then like the blonde-ish one was the supposed to be the beauty, and it was like one of those things where like, well, the other person's actually pretty good looking too. Like, what was there are a lot of those, like, 'cause I guess at that same time they were doing a lot of those high school movies that had 20 somethings in them, and it was like the same idea, It's like
it's like, well, you mean like what? She's All That, or going into
oh, right. She's All That, where was it
Rachel Lee Cook.
Rachel Lee Cook, right? Where she's supposed to be so plain when she really was. That one had a great Paul Walker in it, actually.
Yeah, he was good in that. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some others. Well, we don't have these teen movies anymore. Well, they do. What's that one? It came out a while ago now, I guess. The Space Between Us. Get it? Because the guy's in space, and it's like he's in love. It's the space between us. But yeah, the OC. I need to catch up on, but I just
Yeah.
finished up Everwood, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I have season 2 ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on it. But did you watch the first season? Welcome to the OC podcast. But did you
I haven't
watch
seen it in forever. I don't think I didn't watch the whole season, the whole first season, like kind of all
Oh, you
at
did.
once.
Okay.
It was one of those things where like I started tuning into it because I was like, oh, this it's got some buzz, like people were talking about it. I was like, I'll check out an episode here or there. And so that was kind of what I did. I just
funny. Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, you just check that here and there because if you watch the first season, you can tell where like this show is it's just 27 episodes in the first season.
Yeah,
that's too many. It's 5 more than usual, or even but there's a part where it's like, the show's already spinning its wheels. 5 more episodes is correct.
Yeah.
Because there's a part that's like an evil, like kind of not evil, but he's like a stalkery student guy. See, because don't forget that Ryan Atwood. We're supposed to like American Violence, but I got to go back to the OC. See, Ryan Atwood, he's a bad boy.
Right. Yes.
So bad boys do what they want. So he punches this like stalker student guy. It's kind of awesome. He just punches people right out.
Right. Yeah.
Ephraim on Everwood does not punch people. So it's kind of funny. It's like, this is the real Ephraim. It's like, so stupid. But one of these days I will finish the OC. It's on Tubi too. It's on everywhere. The OC, Tubi, Hulu.
Yeah, because it was a Fox show originally. Max has it as well. Max has some because it was a Fox show. It's interesting it's on Max because being a Fox show, you would think that they would have it on Hulu would have it or Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. But Hulu has it and HBO Max and Tubi.
Tubi's got it.
I'm gonna watch the OC on Tubi.
Yeah, because unless you're paying for Max. Tubi's probably the best bet because the commercials aren't as bad on Tubi.
No, and I thought the commercials on Freevee weren't terrible on what episode I watched everywhere. It was like, it's just 2-3 commercials, 90 seconds each.
Yeah.
Like that's less than it was back in the day of the WB.
Yes. Where I run into problems with Freevee is if we watch Freevee on our TV through because the Comcast Xfinity cable box, you can use like an app on there to watch it. And sometimes on Freevee, they'll do the commercials and it doesn't load properly when it comes back from the commercials.
What? That has happened to me when I did that. Like it took a second. I think I restarted it. It's like,
Freevee. Yeah, we had the same thing with Hulu. We ended up just like breaking down and paying for the ad-free Hulu because my wife she was a big fan of Scrubs, so I was watching Scrubs with her on Hulu, and the commercials would like. It wouldn't be a load after. Sometimes it wouldn't load properly. It's an interesting thing with commercials, with this new world we live in now with streaming.
Well, is that a secret plan to get you to pay?
It probably is. I didn't even think of that. That's a good point. Like it's just because the other thing too though is most people don't do these channels the way my wife and I do. Most people have a smart TV, and we didn't get a smart TV, so we have to stream. We have to use the apps on because our Roku is so old. We need a new Roku as well, so we just use.
I get one of those new ones too, but it's working. Because my Roku 3 thinks it's a Roku 2, so it wants me to upgrade. It's like it works.
Yeah, we were trying because we were trying to use the Roku, and it was like it just kept restarting every time. To like,
really?
we would go to like because we hadn't used it in months, and because I think it's AMC Plus. If you don't subscribe to AMC Plus through your cable provider, you have to watch it through a separate app. You can't just watch it through Comcast. And so because we didn't do that, we didn't, like for example, HBO, we do subscribe through Comcast, so we can watch it on the Comcast app. And then some of the other ones are just, as long as you sign in through the app, you're fine. So like, Tubi we can use on there, a lot of the other ones. But AMC Plus is one we can't use unless we do it through the Roku. And I think Showtime is one that now I think we can because it's going to be through Paramount. But there's all these weird rules that surround it, and it's essentially Comcast just wants you to pay as much as you can. However,
that's weird. I don't have AMC Plus at home. I have it with the friend's house who also has the freebie with no ads.
Right.
Like, so I just watch it there because I know *Halt and Catch Fire* is a good program from what I hear.
Yeah.
I'll get to it. But American Violence. Would we recommend it? Oops. American Tangent.
Right. Well, I think in terms of recommending it, I don't know what you think, but the Gronk scene is great. Paré is great.
Enough for Gronk and Paré. So Paré and Gronk. Everything else is kind of weak. Well, Dern, I guess. But just those three. But I can't save it.
No, for something as long as it is, for something
long. Yeah. That's a huge detriment to the movie. It's almost 2 hours. I was like, oh, how long is it? Hour and 49.
Yeah.
Oh, nuts.
right, exactly. Yeah.
And then it's like, wow, I could tell why it's an hour and 49. You got this, and this, and then to be there, like the corrupt cop guy, even Shinland, or streamline the plot without the death row stuff.
Yeah, I think it's this idea. So the whole point of it was supposed to be this idea of like, this is how a killer happens, or like, this is what, a killer doesn't just suddenly kill, right? There's stuff that happens to them, but it was just so fantastic, right? It was so over the top, all the stuff that happened to him, that it wasn't like kind of like the nice, like, let's give this guy another chance. I mean, yes, I definitely didn't think he should have been executed at the end, because it did seem like he had enough reason for committing the murders.
Okay, kill him. It's like, oops, spoilers, but
right. Well, the other thing too, though, is like the idea that like maybe he can just get out of jail seems like, again, these false binaries that these movies create for these things. It's kind of I listen to a podcast called Knowledge Fight that makes fun of Alex Jones, and they always make a great
impression, by the way.
Yeah, it's a false flag. It's a false flag. They were making fun of him because he was talking about South Africa, and he was saying how like, South Africa, like, it's apartheid. Like apartheid's like gonorrhea, and like communism's like brain cancer. And so it's like you'd rather have the gonorrhea than get brain cancer. And like the guy who hosted is like, this is Alex setting up a false binary, because really he likes apartheid because he's racist, and so it's like, so he's making it sound like you only have two options, apartheid or communism, and communism is so bad that you'd rather have apartheid, and it's like, that's not really how it works. It's kind of how this movie is, where it's like, you either kill, either execute this guy, or he's out on free to go commit more crimes.
No, it's the wrong way of putting it. And it's way too serious of a subject for a movie that stars Gronk.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, to start Gronk, to have Bruce Dern eating an ice cream cone and complaining about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah, it's too serious for that kind of stuff to be happening. But also, I think too serious to have Denise Richards as the psychologist professor.
Your professor? I mean, like, what was that movie? That movie. Well, also she was a scientist, and is not enough.
Right.
But, very, very plausible.
Exactly. Right.
Beautiful scientist named Christmas Jones.
Right. Exactly. Right.
It was like,
you think about Altitude, that was kind of a sillier movie, and I mean it was a more fun movie, right? It was a more fun. I shouldn't say silly, but it was a more fun movie, and she could be a detective who's like an FBI agent in that fun context and make it work.
Well, that's what's interesting, because I could see Denise Richards, like, isn't she on like these Real Housewives shows? But it's like, they're like, I don't want to. I'm getting older. I guess I need to play professors. I can't play models anymore. I got to play detectives. I get like a. I want to see what role she gets. I mean, I'm assuming that I haven't checked in besides Altitude in this movie, but there was that show called Twisted. Remember this one? It was on ABC Family, a new kind of family. Remember that announcer guy? It's like The Fosters on ABC Family. It's like, okay, you can talk like that. I guess it'll keep me watching.
Yeah.
I think Pretty Little Liars on ABC Family or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or The Twisted. I think it might still be on Hulu. I mean, Dave, do you remember this show? It was on.
Yes.
Long ago.
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because it's not. Oh, it's on Hulu. Okay, so I need to watch it because it's probably funny to watch. I think it's funny to watch Denise Richards act kind of serious because like she can't pull it off.
Right.
But she thinks she can pull it off, so it makes it even funnier. Right. It's like, especially in this movie, it's like, I'm a really serious professor.
I know. I'm sitting across from you, and I'm swearing. Like yes. It's like she's swearing. Like I'm swearing. So it's like that's how serious I am because I swear.
I thought she was taking voice lessons from D'Onofrio from Daredevil. It was like, thank you for coming to my party. Okay, so act like that, Denise. Okay, I'm a professor.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, and there you go. It all makes sense.
When is the scene where she gets to slam his head in a slam Kaiwi, Jackson Shea's head in the car door?
The guy who looks like Josh Whedon.
Right.
We know what Josh Whedon looks like. It's just like kind of a bald-headed guy looks like him, but it's like terrible. But you look up Josh Whedon and look up this guy who was in Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's like I thought it really was him. That should have happened. Kylie, that's an interesting name.
Yeah, Kaiwi. What is his last name? This is horrible. Lyman. That's right, Lyman. Yeah, yeah. He did this movie called Assassin's Tale. The first thing I thought it was the first thing I'd seen him in, but actually it turned out he'd been in some other stuff that I'd seen before. But back in like the early 2010s, there was a guy who worked for this distribution company called MTI out of Miami, and he would send me screeners for movies.
Oh, MTI Home Video?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it's MTI Home Video. I think that's the one. Yeah, they send me screeners, and one of them was this movie called Assassin's Tale that had Anna Silk, and then I can't think of the guy's name. Anthony Beach or Michael Beach, I think.
Michael Beach, I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Beach. Yeah, they were both in it, and it wasn't a bad movie, but this guy was in it so it was like these assassins would like go do jobs, and so this guy in it, Kaiwi Lyman, yeah, Michael Beach. For some reason I thought it was more than Michael Beach. I thought like there's more than Beach, like Beach Stone or something. So
Adam Beach.
Adam, yeah, exactly. But yeah, the character, like, he was drinking tea. He was like supposed to be like this kind of like progressive like yogi type who's drinking tea. And so when the assassins would show up in the morning, they'd be like, "Isn't it early to be drinking?" And be like, and he was telling them it was tea, but the way he said tea was like almost like tay. He was like, "It's tay." It's tay. And I was like, why is he saying it like that? Why did you say it's tea? Like, why are you why are you pronouncing it that way? And it was like something that stuck out about his.
Go ahead.
I think it was something that stuck out about his performance. I was like, why is he saying that? Like, that doesn't make, yeah, I think it looks like on the critic reviews thing, I'm one of 4 critic reviews.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Wait, what's the title again?
Assassin's Tale.
Assassin's Tale, okay.
Yeah.
When you say Tay, it's like, well, is it Tay Leone or Tio?
Right, exactly. It's kind of what it was, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never actually heard it said out loud.
It wasn't great. It wasn't a great movie. I kind of had I didn't care for this one. I said, it was kind of, it was one of those very like Pulp Fiction-y, like, not like a Pulp Fiction ripoff, but it was kind of one of those like talky
things. What was that movie? It has Courtney B. Vance and I think Jason Alexander. Remember this movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Courtney Vance plays a hitman and Love and Action in Chicago. You heard of this?
No, I haven't.
I think it's one of these kind of these junkers. Like Jason Alexander. Well, he needs to be an action movie. Jason Alexander.
Yes. Yeah.
Or Jerry Seinfeld. Not Kramer.
Yeah.
But,
right, because right now we can't Kramer. Right. Exactly.
You can't have Kramer. Well, he'll come back one day, but or not. But that would be funny. Why isn't Jerry Seinfeld not doing action movies? But once a day, all these bullets. I don't know, but I just like I can't do Jerry Seinfeld. But what's the movie? He's making a movie now, Jerry Seinfeld. It's about Pop-Tarts or something. Did you see this?
No, I haven't. No.
Like the making of a Pop-Tart, and they get as our buddy as Christian Slater. So
nice.
Hollow Man 2 is Christian Slater stars. It's like that. I wish he said that during his SAG-AFTRA speech, but
Yeah. Well, it's Love and Action in Chicago. I think with Jason Alexander, this came at that period where he was like, "Give me anything that isn't George Costanza." Like, I'm desperate for a non-George Costanza role.
It's okay. I mean, I remember being kind of junky looking.
Yeah.
But it's okay. But we should probably wrap up, actually.
Yeah, I guess we've kind of, I know we've kind of overly tangentified it, but I think between the two movies, I think Hunting Games is an easier sit because it's shorter, but this movie has better performances by Michael Paré and Gronk.
Yeah,
so it's like,
point.
Yeah, you're splitting the difference there.
I would probably, if I had to really decide, I'd probably give the edge to American Violence.
Yeah.
Because it has Gronk.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But hopefully Gronk will make his own movie. Brad the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
He had 2 guns shooting at people. It's amazing.
Yeah, he gets out of the car and he's all business and it's fantastic stuff. And I mean, for a guy his size with his action ability, with his athleticism, I mean, that's why he was, the best tight end. I mean, he had back problems, but otherwise he was the best at his position as tight end of all time because he had that mix of athleticism and size. And I mean, he could potentially be the next like Matthias Hughes or the next Dolph even. I mean, he doesn't have the martial arts.
Yeah. I think that's what's interesting about this movie is that there's a potential for Gronk to actually be a pretty okay action star.
Yeah.
If he just kind of sticks with it.
We need it. We need it. So whoever out there makes these kinds of movies, let us know. We'll put together the script for you. I mean, it's not a hard script, right? I mean, it's him and CT is a buddy cop movie. That's easy enough, right?
I mean, maybe a little bit of Die Hard.
Yeah.
Just take out the criminals, with his martial arts skills or whatever, and
right.
I think we have something.
Yeah, and I mean, he's so big, like he doesn't even have to really do so much for martial arts. He can just like throw people around, and I
can see like someone punches him and he just takes no damage.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, and he goes, oh no, and it just throws a guy out a window or something.
Right. Exactly. Right. And he could use his line from when he played, where like let's say he throws a guy out the window, right, and then CT's like, what happened? What'd you do to him? He's like, had to throw him out the club, just like he did when he was playing.
Perfect. Yes. That's legitimately perfect because that's like hilarious. I had to throw him out the club.
Yeah, I mean, this is the movie that and I think what it is it needs to be shot in Georgia but takes place in Boston. Like that's
exactly
that's the movie. It's CT and it's what it could be too, because CT is about 10 years older than Gronk. It could be like CT's like a veteran cop and Gronk is like a new guy, and so CT's kind of like doing the whole Danny Glover, I'm too old for this, whereas Gronk is like the young guy who's getting into trouble. I mean, like you said, it could be Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. We could do all of these kinds of things with these two.
I think it would just be kind of funny too. It'd be like, it's not serious, but it has like some serious stuff, like maybe towards the middle or end.
Exactly.
Kind of like a Tango and Cash.
Yes.
So, we have something, CT and Gronk.
Yeah, this is it. So. Yeah, so if we leave you with anything, any kind of conclusions with these movies, the movies themselves could have been better, but the reason why the movies themselves could have been better is because they weren't Gronk and CT buddy cop film.
Yeah, exactly. So that was it. But now we have this great idea. So
so hopefully somebody's going to make this happen, because I feel like with these two, they should be able to do it. And I mean, I don't know with Gronk, because Gronk's not playing anymore. He's retired. So I know he does TV work for Fox, but it's like, and then CT, he's just doing those challenge shows. Like they should be able to film. They should be able to find 3 weeks when they're not filming one of those two things to be able to make a movie together.
And maybe you can get Cash Van Dien as like the main villain.
He's the villain.
Fight him.
Yeah.
That would be. I think we have this actually potentially could be a fun movie.
It's perfect, and maybe you throw in Texas Battle as Casper Van Dien's second in command, or maybe Mesner, right? Maybe Mesner, right?
Get Mesner. Get Ava.
Ava. We need Ava, right? I mean, funny American Violence, as we're wrapping that one up, it had an Ava in it. It had I can't remember the actress, the one who's playing his girlfriend.
It had very Ava.
Yeah, she had some Ava vibes. Emma Catherine Rigby was her name. Is her name. We could use Ava. We could use the whole thing. Like, let's just this movie needs to be made. Maybe Bruce Dern's on Skype complaining about things.
He's like, you gotta go into the building.
Right. Exactly.
That's your job.
Right. Yes. He could be the mayor, right? Of the
right. Yeah. Very Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, listen. I'm getting all kinds of bad press. You need to solve this case now. That's what we're paying you for.
Year.
Yeah. It's an election year, right? Which, this movie had the election year cliche as well. American Violence. It was an election year. I forgot to mention that part, but yeah, it's got to be an election year. Bruce Dern's putting pressure on them to solve the crime.
Yes, it's beyond brilliant, and Bruce Dern as the chief.
Yes.
Whenever he's too lazy to have a name.
Yeah. This is the movie. Yeah, right. He's the mayor, right? Yeah, Mayor Peanut Butter or something. Mayor Ice Cream.
Yeah, Mayor Peanut.
Mayor Peanut. Yeah, exactly.
Joshua Peanut.
Yeah.
So Mayor Joshua Peanut is.
Yeah. He's running for his 13th consecutive term. it's a huge, but this huge scandal, this crime has been rocking the city of Boston. How is he going? Come on, you guys got to solve this crime for me. I can't. I can't.
Very Louis Anderson too.
Yeah.
It's like
Perfect. Well, yeah, maybe it's a good note for us to end it on. But before we wrap up, we got to do our plugs, of course.
Oh, plugs. Okay, so Ty Comeuppance on the Twitter X,
Right.
and then ComeuppanceReviews.net is the website, which is also on Facebook under that name. And Ty Action Rocks is my Instagram handle. I posted Secret Agent Club today. Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Oh, Richard Mall. That's what I was going to mention. Richard Mall's in it. Oh, and it's produced by Jordan Belfort. The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, right. Yes.
Which is amazing. It's like, wait, Jordan Belfort. I know that name. Hey, that's Wolf of Wall Street.
Right. That's awesome.
The movie is kind of junky. Secret Agent Club. Well, it's a kid's movie. There's a part that's very, very annoying.
Yeah.
It's like some kid yelling and Hulk Hogan like in virtual reality or something. Mm-hmm. It's very stupid.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
And that's all my plugs.
And I was going to say, you guys
just
hit
too.
Oh, you get the podcast. Yeah, so right. Yeah, definitely the podcast.
Right. 1,400 reviews or 1,300 reviews.
1,400, yeah, which is amazing. Amazing milestone to cross that.
Oh, thanks. I couldn't believe it is. Like, oh, wow. So that's why we made New York Ninja that 1,400 review.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a good movie. Did you watch that yet?
Yes, I did. Yeah, we got on Showtime here.
It's on Showtime, New York Ninja.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There's a stream on Showtime. So whatever the show, which I guess is now going to be part of Paramount. I don't know how it works, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these like conglomerate mergers.
Yeah. Well, because what happened was my wife wanted to see the Bill Cosby documentary on Showtime, so we got the free trial, and I was like, oh, New York Ninja's on there. Well, I'll watch it and review it. And then we were trying to decide what to do, and we found out that on Paramount they have things like Real World and all those kinds of shows.
Right.
And we realized instead of getting rid of Showtime, if we just up the price of Showtime by a little bit, we get Paramount Plus as well. So we ended up doing that. So
I know they have Next, but not the complete series that show on TV.
Yeah.
It's like do you remember watching Next? I know.
Yes.
But it was such a ridiculous. It was the show. Well, I don't know. We're kind of the same age. So you get home, you put on MTV. And you have Next. Like, what is this next? Oh, it's like these stupid idiots just dating each other. These terrible challenges.
Yes, right. Exactly.
And these double entendres are basically just not even. They're like single entendres.
Yes. Yeah. The one I remember was I think the girl on Next. Like she was one of the guys. He was I don't know if he was. I think he was Native American, or he was of Native American heritage, and she was like, "Oh, that's so cool. Do you like rituals and stuff like that?" And it was like, really, and he was okay with it. He was like, "Yes, I do some stuff like that." But it was just like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Well, that was like the interesting era of MTV around 2006 to let's say maybe even 2009.
Yeah,
it's like you get these kind of goofy shows like Next or Date My Mom.
Yes, right. Yes, Date My Mom.
Well,
because it was like they were trying to find what would stick, and then apparently once they figured out what would stick, they were like, "We're just going to show it all the time." Because it was like,
they feel ridiculous. Well, our buddy.
Yes, right.
Rambo skateboarding pimp.
The skateboarding pimp. Yeah, that's on all the time.
It's on 24/7. I mean,
yeah.
Let's give it a rest and let's put on some CT. Some CT challenge.
Yeah, because the challenge is on Paramount Plus, but I think they used to do that. That used to be what it would be. They used to do these big marathons of the Real World and stuff like that, and Jersey Shore. They're still doing the same Jersey Shore cast. They're in their 40s now or their late 30s now, and it's just they're all millionaires, and it's just
fun. And I never watched it because I didn't like any. All the characters are very unlikable.
Yes.
So it's
yeah.
I don't watch unlikable people. Well, do you remember that kind of Jersey Shore? Oh, what's it called? I can't remember if I can remember this. It's hard to remember it live. It was about it was like Jersey Shore, but it was in the South.
Floribama Shore. Yes.
No, not just that. I'm looking up Jersey Shore. What's wrong with me? Yes, we all love Snooki.
Oh, is it the one where the kid died?
Yeah, he died. But I don't remember the title of the
That's
show.
right. Yeah, it wasn't. You're right. It wasn't Floribama Shore. It was another one, and he was four-wheeling or something like that, and he died.
Yeah, crushed them or something.
Yes, that's right.
Find the title. It's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Let me see. I can do it really quickly. MTV. Sorry, doing this live, people.
All right.
Show.
I'm typing in Redneck Jersey Shore and seeing if that gets us. Buck Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We got it at the same time.
Buck Wild. Yeah, I remember Buck Wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sad he died, but I would remember that. Like it was like trying to be like Jersey Shore, but it's out.
Hey,
I'm not disparaging him. I just remember that was on. Also, Pretty Wild.
Yes.
Remember that one? Yeah. From it was on E.
Yes.
It was Alexis Nyers. Remember she like stole from Paris Hilton the bling ring. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The bling ring. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
They made a show with those criminals. Basically, they're criminals.
Yeah.
But they had their own show.
Yeah.
How can you steal from Paris Hilton? I mean, like she did nothing wrong. She made House of Wax and the other movie I can't think of right now.
The Repo Jeanette or
Repo Jeanette. Oh, The Hills. I was thinking The Hills.
The Hills. Oh, right. Yeah.
The Hills with a Z. It's hilarious. She's really funny in it. It's like, hi, Gregory died last night. If you wanted to check that out, it's really funny. But we should let you go because we've
retangent again, right?
Yeah.
We've retangented. Yeah, we've detailed. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I guess we're still kind of taking a break from Willis, but I think we'll kind of see what happens.
What's going to be our next thing? Is it Malky and the Skids, or is it going to be that the Get Back?
So I think we'll kind of we'll kind of figure that out, like which one we want to do, because they're all on Tubi and Hulu, and so they're all free for us to get. So
good choices. So we can't really go wrong. Maybe the Sheeta thing. It's a silencer weapon. I mean, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Or maybe Get Back, because if it's going away soon, we got to watch it soon.
Exactly. That's the other thing too. Tubi's might be making us do it. So we'll probably be back up.
Yeah. So we'll put Malcolm and the Skids on the shelf again, maybe.
But we'll see. Yeah, it's sort of whatever's available. Yeah, exactly. And maybe even Salvation. Maybe I can figure out a way to make that one happen.
Yeah, we'll get that done. We'll try to get done this year then. I know running out of year. I know it's August.
I know we're already into August, so our next one probably won't be until I think we're talking now in August, but actually the episode's airing in September. So
okay.
Yeah, so it might not be till October that so we're
I'm not sure what you're scheduling. We'll talk off air about that, but
for sure.
Maybe do one in a couple of weeks or something. Yeah, so
yeah,
maybe you could do that. The Get Back if it's going away. So Get Back and I don't know, one of those.
Yeah.
We'll
one of those ones, but we'll make that happen. But I think these ones we did today, not the worst, but not the best.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's hard to beat Operation Seawolf and Shadow Hunters because it's perfect. Had the perfect title.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see.
Big Grillo cheese,
Exactly. Yeah, we could have used some Grillo. We could have used some Hotch. We could have used a few of those names for these movies.
I miss my Hotch,
Yeah.
But it's don't kick producers, as we keep saying to him.
Exactly. That's the rule. That's the rule.
We said that before this happened to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'll let you go. Thanks for having me.
Thank you again for coming on, Ty. This was another fun conversation, and
fun.
Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.